Welcome to our podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris.
And together we are Chris-Squared. This is a show where not only you get a perspective from one Chris,
but two Chris's.
This podcast, we are going to be dissecting the episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 8, the most current episode 5. This was a crazy episode, just starting right off the bat. We have a lot to talk about. In my opinion, this is probably the best episode thus far of the season. Am I crazy to say that, Chris, you?
No, you're not, because I totally feel the same way. I just feel like there's a lot to unpack for this episode. Even with the initial reaction from social media after this episode aired, like a lot of people were, I'd say they were gagged with what happened, and we're gonna be talking about this later on. But yeah, I'd say this is the craziest episode thus far of the season.
So getting right into it, the show begins with a James confessional being glad that he has extra closet space, but he's sad he lost a friend. Is James full of shit here? Because he just voted Darian Lake out 3 times in a row. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like James was just I don't know. I think she was just trying to really manifest a Darian Lake elimination here. And I mean, I don't blame James for voting Darian thrice. Especially if you're going by track record.
Right. Would you have voted out Darian Lake instead of James or Alexis?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like Darian has been saved so many times already, and I may be biased here, but the episode where Kasha Davis went home over Darian was just that was absolutely criminal, and I just feel like Darian should have gone home right then and there.
So you would have voted out Darian over Kasha?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. See, I would have voted out Kasha, to be honest, just because of that ridiculous, I don't even know, clown fiesta dress she had on. She literally looked like she was going to blow balloons at a 3-year-old toddler's birthday party. And so she brought everything under the sun and attached it to her dress.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, it just reminds me of the look that Jiggly Caliente did for season 4.
Oh my gosh, the post-apocalyptic ball.
Yes, that one. I mean, it did remind me of that one, but I mean, overall, talking about track records. And
you're a track record person. That's how you would be voting.
I am a track record person. I mean, I like to kind of be partial to queens who have been doing well, and then I just don't want them going home just because of one slip up, when there's other people who have been consistently not doing well, and then they're just being kept there.
Yeah,
so it's just
I feel you. So Darian's message, I don't quite remember what it says exactly, but it said something along the lines of I'll be seeing you guys soon or something, and the queens are like, oh my gosh, is there a twist? Is someone coming back? Do you think someone will come back this season?
I mean, they've done that before. They did that on All Stars 2, where it wasn't just one queen, but 2 queens who went back. I mean, who came back, and so I just feel like this season has been really good. The entire cast is good, and again, each queen that has gone home so far, we wish that we got to see more of them, and so I don't mind if there is a twist in which somebody is coming back. I'm really hoping that actually is the case.
So the queens sit down and they get lipsticks together and they start counting the lipsticks. And it's a unanimous vote for Darian, and the one James vote is from Darian. So is this expected, or were you surprised?
I am actually not surprised. And again, like to my point earlier, I mean, like it's a long time coming. Like she, she's been in the bottom thrice now, and so like if she still is being kept there, there's something really wrong with this cast.
I sadly agree. I really love Darian Lake. I remember watching her on her original season, and I was such a huge fan. She's witty, she's funny. I find her drag aesthetically pleasing, especially coming from a bigger lady. Like, that's really hard to come by because, I mean, things aren't fitted well or usually fitted for a plus size queen. So they got to do a lot of the work on their own. So I respect the craft. None of that translated for Darian this season, sadly, except for that last look she got it voted out with. I think that was her that was her best look thus far, but that's all we got from Darian. So I'm kind of sad, but I'm interested to see what she has to bring in the Fame Games.
The Fame Games. I totally forgot about that part. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what you said. I mean, compared to like her original season, I think she really had like a very huge glow up. Like she's really polished the second time around, and I guess like I wish that it just translated more into the competition, because like a lot of people really love Darian Lake, me included, during her original season, and then for her to kind of just like again like be on the bottom 3 times now, it just feels like, yeah, I think it really just was just like her time to go.
Yeah, this season was just not meant for her, clearly. She is a talented queen. There's only one winner, so I was just glad to see Darian back on our television screen.
Agreed.
Moving on, Jimbo plays a really cute joke on Alexis. They're like, Jimbo, who'd you pick? And she's like, Alexis, I'm really sorry to do this on your wedding day. And Alexis looks shook for 2 seconds. But then she was like, I also voted for Darian.
I mean, I also fell for it actually when I was watching the episode. I'm like, ooh, and then like
that would have been drama mama. That would have been
really
drama.
Would have been. Yeah.
You thought this episode had drama already. If that were to happen, that would have been the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alexis, she has a confessional saying Jimbo better watch out because she keeps winning, so that's placing a target on her back. Do you think Alexis is right?
I do see the merit in that. I mean, it paints a target on your back when you keep winning, and sometimes depending on the queen who let's say if you're a strategic person and you win and you get the power to eliminate somebody, you can just easily eliminate a front runner in a competition. I mean, look at what Naomi Smalls did to Manila back on All Stars 4.
And Pangina sending Jimbo home during
UK versus the world. Exactly.
Like, we have receipts of people playing the game. So I also think Alexis is right. What you said, you were a track record person at the beginning of the pod.
Yeah.
So if you were in a position to send Jimbo home versus, I don't know, let's say Alexis or James, would you send one of them home or would you send Jimbo home?
That's a good question, and now it's really like making me think, because you know, again, like if you want to win, you want to make sure you take out the people who are actually winning, but also at the same time you have to think about like if you're constantly keeping somebody who you know you can beat, and like not everybody is thinking that way, it kind of like also says a lot about how you are as a person, or at least like as a competitor, and sometimes that kind of paints a target on your back as well. But I mean, I'm gonna like rephrase that question. I mean, like, if you get a shot at like taking out somebody who you know is one of the strongest in the competition, wouldn't you want to like take that shot to take them out?
It's because you and I, we have history playing online reality games, so we have our nerd moments, and we think about what's the best thing to do strategically in a social game, and All Stars is pretty much a social game as well as a reality drag race show. So I would heavily think about taking out the competition. The question is it too soon to take out the competition? Because if you send the biggest threat home, who's going to be the next biggest threat? Because that's letting the rest of the queens know that it's okay to send whoever the hell you want to send home now. So am I the next biggest threat if I send, for example, Jimbo home? That's something that I would be worried about, especially if I was the one making that decision. The queens would be like, okay, so you just did a fierce move. So don't slip up because you might be the next one gone.
Exactly. Yeah, and like people are gonna remember you for that.
Exactly. So it's like I would say I would consider it. I would want to do it, but I would also think about how many queens are left, and would it come back around to bite me in the ass potentially?
Yeah.
But you have to cut them. You like the rest of the queens have to be thinking that if Jimbo stays to the very end, she's winning. There's no way the rest of the queens have a shot at winning if Jimbo is there.
Exactly.
So they must be thinking about that.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody's like thinking that, and that's what I like about like the format for this season. It's just like it's like Survivor.
It is like Survivor. I'm getting my Survivor my needs, like my Survivor fix for,
exactly.
for watching Drag Race. And if you guys want us to cover Survivor, just let us know in the comments.
Yes, we are Survivor nerds as well.
Yes.
So.
But moving on, Lala takes a lick out of an apple. I believe this is Jimbo's apple. And the queens are kind of thirst trapping over Lala. Are you getting into what Lala is serving and selling, or are you not partaking?
I mean, like, who doesn't love the Lala experience? I mean, I do know that Alexis has been like expressing that in her confessionals in like the earlier episodes that she has a thing for Lala, and I think that I don't know, like I'm very intrigued with like how that storyline is gonna play out. I do hope that they show more of that throughout the season. Because
do you ship this showmance, Alexis and Lala?
I totally ship the showmance. I think it's been a while since we've had like a Drag Race showmance. So yeah.
I agree. The last one was what, Brooklyn and Vanjie?
Yeah, like in season 11, and like what, we're already approaching season 16. It's like,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I really wanted Brooklyn and Vanjie to work out, but to each their own, and
yeah. I mean, they did try. It's just like it didn't work out. So
alrighty. So for the listeners, Heidi has this ridiculous face when Lala is licking this apple, and Alexis just getting her life.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like Alexis is like really into it. So.
Look at that gaze that Alexis. She is thirsty. She wants some Lala Ree.
Yeah, like it literally can be like an emoji. Like
oh my gosh. And I've noticed that Jimbo is flirting with Lala a little bit this episode. Do you think she's doing that because she likes Lala, or just to play fun with Alexis?
I feel like Jimbo's the type of person to just like crack jokes at you, but then like you could kind of tell if like Jimbo is like into you or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I feel like this for this one, I feel like it could be both. It could be both. I mean, like again, like Lala's
Lala's
like,
the trait of the season.
exactly.
All the girls want Lala this season.
So like I don't blame Jimbo if like Jimbo's like, you know, also into Lala.
Okay, Lala, get you some. Look at Alexis
See?
fiending. That is one of the themes this episode. Alexis is straight fiending.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, RuPaul announces, well, she doesn't quite announce in this part, but she is, you know, in her pussycat wig, giving the riddle to the queens, and Lala clocks that it is Snatch Game, and she wants to do well this time around because she never got to do Snatch Game during her season.
Yes.
Would you be nervous to do Snatch Game?
I personally would, but then like I don't know, like I always like tried asking myself that, like, okay, if I was gonna be on Drag Race and like, and then obviously you have to do Snatch Game, like what characters would you do? I'm personally like not good with impressions and like impersonations, but then like I don't know, I probably do like David Levy from like Schitt's Creek or like David Rose. So,
what
but yeah,
character would I do?
Yeah, which one would you do?
That is interesting. I think I don't know. I'm trying to picture myself as, you know, a drag queen. Side note, if I were a drag queen, my drag name would be along the lines of Aida Cherry.
Ooh.
Or Shanita Comb.
That's a good one. I like that.
I will copyright Shanita Comb.
Shanita Comb.
Shanita Comb. And I don't know. I'd probably do like Johnny Depp, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean kind, like do the characters that Johnny Depp has probably done. I really love, big fan of his. Or I can go like a female route, which an iconic female to do. I don't know. I'm drawn to like Lizzo or T.S. Madison, but they've both been done before. Especially Lizzo. Like I feel like Lizzo's a trap, but I would really like to do Lizzo.
Yeah, I mean, like the last person who did Lizzo, I think that was like on Drag Race Down Under, and like she was in the bottom for doing Lizzo.
I'm saying so. I'm. You know, Snatch Game has those taboo characters that you just never want to do because they always land you in the bottom. For example, Beyonce.
Beyonce, I was gonna say Beyonce.
Never do Beyonce on Snatch.
Like that's like such a cursed character to do.
Literally. So Lala announces that she will be doing Suki Hana. Are you familiar with Suki Hana?
I am honestly not, but I do know of the show where she's from.
She's from Love and Hip Hop. I don't really watch Love and Hip Hop, but my friend, my best friend, we were watching it together. And she said that apparently Suki Hana is problematic in, I guess, a good way. I don't know. She just starts the drama on social media. So I was like, really excited to see what Lala was going to sell. And we'll talk more about that when we get there. Jessica and Jimbo talk, and she is saying that she had the privilege of participating in the first ever Snatch Game in Drag Race history.
Yeah.
And she's excited because this is her second chance to snatch victory with Iris Chacon. What do you think about the choice of Iris Chacon?
I mean, at this point, like we've seen so many Snatch Games throughout the seasons where it's not just like the look that matters. It's like how you actually like portray that character. How are you gonna able to actually crack jokes, do improv, and especially like the whole premise of this whole thing is to just like make Rue laugh.
Exactly.
And
I think
like,
it's important what you just said to make it funny and to make it the jokes understandable to anybody, because I'm pretty sure most of the Drag Race audience, including myself, did not know who Edie's Chacon is
yeah,
prior to Jessica doing it. However, you don't need to know the character, or the audience doesn't need to know the character for them to get it. Like if you look at Pearl's Snatch Game from season 7, like no one really knew who Big Ange was, but she slayed that character so much that everyone fell in love with that character. So
exactly. And it's also like, yeah, another example would be like the one that Jinx Monsoon did on season
mhm.
5, Little Edie. Like it was such a
Yes.
very obscure character, but then like it was so good. Like you at least had an idea of who she was just because like Jinx really portrayed her character so well. And so it could really go in that direction. And I'm hoping Jessica actually slays as Iris Chacon. So
I agree. James says that they will be doing Jennifer Coolidge, and I was literally so excited because
same.
I binged all of White Lotus seasons 1 and 2. I love Jennifer Coolidge, and I feel like this was just the perfect pick for James. What do you
Oh,
think?
absolutely. I've been like literally waiting for somebody to do Jennifer Coolidge. I think Jennifer Coolidge, it's, she's such a really great personality, such a huge gay icon now, and like you can really make this character funny just because like Jennifer Coolidge is like, she's done comedy, she's done drama, she's done a lot of roles now, and it's just like you can really make a lot of like jokes as her. And like I know that other drag queens have impersonated her. I know Juno Birch did before, but like, and that's why like I'm really excited that somebody was finally doing Jennifer Coolidge for Snatch Game, and I'm glad it's James of all people who's doing it.
Chrissy, I want to hear your best Jennifer Coolidge
Oh my
impersonation.
gosh, where do I can't even do the voice. So I'm like too flustered and too shy to do that. But
You gotta, you gotta, you gotta whisper your voice.
whisper your
You
voice.
gotta. I really want a hot dog real bad.
I totally forgot she said that. Like,
Meanwhile, I'm dying in the background. Are you homosexuals? I love the homosexuals.
what was that line from these gays? They're
The
trying to
gay-
murder me.
The gays of Palermo. They're going to kill us.
Oh god. Yeah. I was just really glad that James was doing Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh my gosh. So moving on, Alexis and Jimbo Kiki about them both winning Snatch Game on their original seasons. Believe Alexis played Liza.
Yeah.
And Jimbo played Joan Crawford
Rivers.
or Joan Rivers. Joan
Yeah.
Rivers. Yes. Oh my gosh, I get those mixed up all the time. But like Alexis's Liza was so good on original season, so I just knew that Alexis could do well this challenge, and I was really excited to see what Jimbo had to bring as well. So when you saw like these two get together, did you think right off the bat they were going to excel in this challenge, or did you have any worries?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised honestly if they did well. I was really expecting them to like really do well for Snatch Game, just as like again, like we know Jimbo is like a comedian, and then Alexis has really excelled in the Snatch Game. And I think like even before the Snatch Game for season 9, they did like the Rusical, the Kardashians one, and like she slayed as Kris Jenner. So we know how good of an actress like Alexis is. So, and I'm just like really excited just to see who's gonna win. Just because like of what you mentioned earlier, we have 2 Snatch Game winners here. So now it's like, oh, so which of the 2 is gonna win, or is somebody else gonna win?
Right. So Alexis announces that she will be doing Beat Arthur.
Ooh.
Have you watched the Golden Girls before?
I have not, but I know of it, and I know that doing Golden Girls, at least like in the history of like Drag Race, doing Golden Girls is a huge risk to do, and you know that you cannot f
Rue
this
loves his
up.
Golden Girls. You don't
Exactly.
fuck with Rue's Golden Girls, and if you don't do it right, that is, like you said, a huge risk.
Exactly. And let's not forget, like season 13, Elliot with two T's did like Rue McClanahan. Look what happened.
Oh my gosh. Um, I just think it not okay. Not only is this pick risky, but I there's a high risk, but also a high reward. I feel like if you execute well, RuPaul loves the Golden Girls to death. So if you make him laugh and kind of and you remind him of the things that he loves, I feel like that's a sure bet to making it to the top of this challenge.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it was risky, but spoiler alert, it paid off for Alexis.
Oh yeah.
She made the top 3. But I was just shocked that she was able to execute B. Arthur in such a way. But we'll get more into that later. RuPaul comes in to do his pre-Snatch Game interviews to kind of get the girls together, and Kahana's first, and she brings up this tub of Cheeto Puffs. What were you thinking when she brought this up to the table to present to Ru?
I don't know why, but like I was like thinking of like last season when Selena Esteves, because like I know like Cheetos is she has like a bit with like the Cheetos thing, so I thought it was that. But then like I think I knew from the get-go as well that it probably had something to do with Coco Montrese or somebody else. I don't know. But
I was like, is she gonna do the hot Cheeto girl?
yes, I totally forgot about her. Yes.
You know what? That could be an option. If anyone knows the hot Cheeto girl on TikTok, I feel like that would be an iconic thing to do on Snatch Game.
Yeah, I feel like she could have went that route as well. I mean, like it would have been like
it would have been a different choice than Coco, and at this point, maybe any choice would have been better than Coco Montrese. No shade.
Absolutely, and like, just because like it's easier to actually like make it funny, right? And it's sometimes like you might have to go with the easier or like the more obvious route when doing Snatch Game, other than like somebody who, let's say, like, yeah, you can do the look for this person, but like they're not necessarily funny. So like that's the challenge there. So
now I thought doing drag queens for Snatch Game was taboo, like not really allowed anymore, because historically, most people who have done previous drag race queens on Snatch Game, they don't perform too well, with the exception of maybe Violet Chachki doing Alyssa Edwards that one time.
yeah,
but everyone else who has done like a drag race alum hasn't really done well in Snatch Game. Why do you think that is? Is it just hard to role play as a drag queen and make it funny on Snatch Game?
I mean, I think it's because like you know that it's another drag queen that they're impersonating, and like you always just think like obviously like nobody plays Alyssa Edwards better than Alyssa Edwards herself. It's like that kind of like mentality, and it's just like you're gonna have to like really like sell it well, especially to Ru, who knows these drag queens personally too. So it's like you have to really hit the nail on like impersonating them. And again, to your point earlier, like the history of like drag queens impersonating other drag queens for Snatch Game has never been really like good. It's like it's mostly like people who land in the bottom or like safe at most.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like look at like Roxy Andrews impersonating Alaska,
right?
Or like
exactly,
or Max doing Sharon Needles. It both landed them in the bottom, and it's just yeah, like I think
it's because drag queens, they have like their one-liners usually, like their one or two one-liners, and like that's just not enough material to kind of banter and volley back and forth from whatever prompts or ruse throwing your way or the other queen.
Absolutely.
And like if you keep saying the same thing over and over again, it gets redundant and played out and just not funny.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we kind of ran into with Kahana this time around. Like the only thing she had was the Cheetos on her face and the filters, really. And that was not it.
Exactly.
Sadly.
Like there's just like not much content you can just like use, right? And it's just you're gonna be running in circles, just like beating a dead horse, trying to do the same joke over and over and over and again. And it's just like it's gonna get boring and tired pretty easily. So
now Kahana does mention to RuPaul that she's really nervous because every acting challenge or anything that involves improv, she has struggled with in Drag Race. Do you think that Drag Race is too heavy on the acting challenges or the improv challenges? And do you think they relate or correlate directly to what a drag queen should be able to do on Drag Race?
I mean, I think that they're doing a decent job of trying to balance out like the challenges for each season. Like we get a good mix of like, okay, we're gonna do like acting challenges, we're gonna do comedy challenges, we're gonna do musical or music challenges, and I think like sometimes it really just kind of like pushes you to your limit as a drag queen. I mean, that's the reason why you get on these competitions, right? Just to show people that you're not just a one-trick pony. You have to be a well-rounded queen. You're somebody that, if you're mostly a comedy queen, but you can also act, you can also sing, you can also do dance. And I just feel like for these queens, I don't blame them if, like, for example, they struggled with acting challenges before, but then like you're coming back to Drag Race and you're supposed to expect that there's gonna be acting challenges regardless.
Right.
And so
do you think Kahana should have taken a couple improv classes?
I feel like, especially like if that's like your biggest weakness, or like if that was like the area or like the challenge that sent you home the first time around, like you're gonna really want to like really improve and like reflect on that. If it means like taking improv classes, or like, again, like I know there were queens who went home during design challenges and then they learned sewing classes. I mean, they took sewing classes and like the second time around, they did way better now for those design challenges. And so again, it really just depends on the queen. If you really want to excel, you're going to really have to like,
that's a good point. Because at first I was kind of thinking that this season specifically did have, we're on episode 5, a decent amount of acting challenges already. Like we had the RuPaul's Drag Race Live challenge. We had the Snatch Game challenge. And then we had the commercial challenge where you had to make your commercial for for whatever movie,
like the trailers,
or show. The trailer challenge. And so that's 3 acting challenges out of 5, basically. Which, maybe we'll not get as many as the season continues. But I just thought maybe that was interesting that out of the 5, we've gotten 3 that involve some sort of acting or improv.
Yeah.
Which is very unfortunate for Kahana. But like you said, like, some queens have gone home during the what's it called?
Yeah,
the design challenge.
Design.
Like, and a lot of queens aren't sewers, so they go home because they don't know how to sew. But they learn how to sew and they come back and do a lot better. So I just feel like there is different facets to being a drag queen, and
exactly.
It's okay to not be good at some of them, but the point is try your best, and maybe you can showcase like what you're best at in other areas.
Exactly.
Jimbo walks up and RuPaul immediately clocks that she's doing Shirley Temple. What were your thoughts?
I think it's like Jimbo really like, doing it again. I mean, Jimbo has like been slaying all of these like snatch games and like comedy challenges, and it's like we're always just like hooked and like intrigued as to like what's Jimbo gonna do next. And like I'm glad that she decided to do Shirley Temple. It's like you know from the get go, like once you hear that this queen is doing this character, you almost have like this kind of like reaction or impression in which you're gonna be like, oh, I'm sure she's gonna say that. Oh, it makes sense. Oh, I can totally see her doing that. And this is kind of like the case for Jimbo. Like, I knew that she was gonna be, I knew that she was gonna do well as soon as like, yeah.
Jimbo doing Shirley Temple is just something something way out of left field that I would have never expected her to do until she actually does it. It's like something that we didn't know that we needed or wanted until we actually got it.
Right.
And on top of that, when I knew this was Snatch Game of Love, so when I heard Shirley Temple, I was like, at first I was like, it's gonna be weird because
yeah,
we're trying to get some bachelors to love us, right? So
yeah.
But
it's interesting. Yeah, I never even thought about that until you mentioned it. Now it's like, oh yeah, okay. I can see why it could be problematic.
it could have been problematic, but I feel like Jimbo is just so pure in her character that like it just worked. Like there was nothing weird about it. It was all fun. And yeah, just Jimbo has been a delight this season. Not considering those lip syncs, but we don't talk about that. So we get a nice picture of Shirley Temple here. And she did, in fact, do Joan Rivers, which was excellent. And then RuPaul is like, oh,
Heidi.
Before we talk about that, RuPaul is like, Jimbo, you didn't get to make it to Snatch Game on UK versus the World. And she was like, no, she starts shaking her head, and RuPaul just dies. Like, RuPaul is out here laughing in the Queen's face that they didn't make it to Snatch Game on the original season because Jimbo got robbed on UK versus the World.
I totally agree.
Moving on, Heidi announces that she's doing Blackbeard, and the drag race producers, they just drop a cartoon picture of Blackbeard because we don't have an actual photo of who Blackbeard looks like. What are your thoughts on Heidi doing Blackbeard?
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Like I feel like it's like one of those cases where it's like it could be it's like a high risk, high reward kind of thing. Like it could go in either direction where it's like you can actually slay and kill that character, or it's just gonna really bomb so hard. And yeah, especially like with like these kinds of characters where it's like you don't really have much content or like reference as to like how they are, who they are. I mean, like I'm just like remembering like Rosé's Snatch Game character. Like she did like Mary Queen of Scots.
Yes, I remember.
But then she made it funny. Or like Jax during like the season 15, like she did the Mona Lisa, where it's like it was decent.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, and it is just I was hoping that it was gonna be the case for Heidi doing Blackbeard as well. I mean, Heidi did a really like good job with Blackbeard.
I think so too. I will get more into it when we get to the actual Snatch Game, but I was interested where she would go with this character because, like you mentioned, there's not much context or material to get from Blackbeard, other than that he's like a famous childhood pirate. So yeah, I was just excited to see where they would go with this. And Heidi is told by RuPaul to just remember to have fun and enjoy yourself here at the competition. I feel like RuPaul and the rest of production kind of already knew that Heidi was on the verge of cracking. And they're just like, Heidi, please, like you're good, right? Like make sure you're having fun, please.
Yeah, and we'll get to that part as well later on. But yeah, because like we've been seeing at least like on the past episodes that Heidi has been having these like sentiments of like her wanting to I think it was like on Untucked, I think like 2 episodes ago, where she was kind of like saying, I want to leave, something like that.
Yeah,
she
was like really upset because she didn't get in the top.
Yeah, she was like
critiques.
Exactly. Like she was like frustrated that the judges just don't see the potential that she has. And it's just like, you know.
Which I'll agree. That episode in specifically, I did feel like Heidi at least deserved to be in the top. So
for that ball challenge for sure.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get more into this when we get to that part, but like I just really am bummed that Heidi didn't get some more recognition than what she got, because I feel like she definitely deserved better this season.
Exactly.
But we're moving on to the Snatch game, and the first group is Heidi in Closet as Blackbeard, Jessica Wilde as Iris Dracon, or Chacon, sorry, Dracon. Kahana Montrese as Coco Montrese, and James as Jennifer Coolidge. Just visually, the queens look pretty damn cool, like as their characters. So I was really excited. And it's announced that Matt Rogers is our first Bachelor this round. Are you familiar with Matt Rogers?
I am. I know. Yeah. I think like I've seen like the Netflix thing. I wasn't sure if he's like the same guy from like the Fire Island thing.
I'm not sure. I had no prior history to Matt Rogers until this episode. But from what I gathered is that he's really cute.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
Matt Rogers, if you're listening. But yeah, Matt Rogers comes in with his nice sherbet jacket, and the first question is to Heidi. And basically, the first question is, where would Heidi take him on their first dates? And Heidi responds, on their big black ship. And they would cross the 6 seas. And RuPaul had to remind Heidi that there were 7 seas.
Yeah, that was I think like that was like an unintentional kind of joke.
Do you think that was unintentional? I thought maybe Heidi intentionally said 6 so that it would be a joke.
I don't know. I mean, like, I felt like she genuinely just like made a mistake and like corrected her.
But that does sound like a Heidi thing to do, so I would not put it past Heidi.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to give Heidi some more bonus points.
Oh yeah.
And the next question is for Kahana. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Matt asked Jessica what she would be if the saying "you are what you eat" is true. And Jessica, oh wait, sorry, I'm going ahead myself. After the 6 C's joke, Heidi drops her pegged leg and she says, "The jig is up." And RuPaul dies.
That actually was funny. I actually like that part.
That was funny as hell. That had me dying out of my seat. And then the next question is for Jessica. If you are what you eat, what would you be? And she says, "A tremendo culo."
I appreciated that joke as well. Like I have like a very like dry sense of humor, and it's just I think that was like the really right route that Jessica was like headed into. Like it was like very smart. It was very witty.
It
And
started off pretty high. Like this was a nice way to start off, but I feel like the problem with Edie Chacon or her portrayal of the character is that it was a little one note. It just kept like she kept repeating like her mannerisms and kept saying tremendo.
yeah.
And like it's funny, but it gets played out over some time, and that was
Yeah.
my biggest issue with Jessica here. Matt looks worried. Excuse me. Next question is for Kahana. If you are what you eat, what would you be? And Kahana says, I mean, what you think? And there was like this pause, this awkward silence. And then she says, I'm a damn Cheeto. Matt says, I like Cheetos. And that was about it for Kahana. I felt bad because like I feel like that would be something that Coco would have said maybe. But I did not translate well for the Snatch Game stage. So.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it was just like the execution that wasn't like done well, but also at the same time, like it just felt like a dead end. Like, okay, like how would you even react to that? Like if somebody told you that, like
my thing is, Kahana was like, I mean, what you think? Because it was like a joke. Like her face is yellow, so she's obviously a Cheeto. But Matt has this wall in between the queens, so they can't even look at the rest of the queens. So.
And that's why, like, and that's probably also why it didn't work, right? Like, it just like, just because like you don't see it, it's like you don't fully understand the joke,
right?
Unless like you actually watch like the whole thing, and I don't know, like. We didn't even touch on this part yet, but like the Snatch Game of Love, like at least like the format for me, kind of like it doesn't sit well with me.
You prefer the OG Snatch Game than the Snatch Game of Love?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think like even like with this episode too, I mean like the way like the episode was edited, or like the way that they were asking questions, it just didn't seem like it felt like the queens were being asked different or like unique questions. Mm-hmm. When it should be like, you know, like they're
an even playing field for everyone.
Exactly.
Kind of. I see. Yeah, I agree. It is different from regular Snatch Game, and the jokes are more tailored to like love and more tailored towards the bachelors.
Yeah.
Which I feel like makes it harder for the queens to banter and volley off of each other. Which we had. Maybe only one queen try and volley off of off of the other queens, and she was accused of bullying said queen.
Yep.
So I agree with you. Like I do prefer regular Snatch Game. Do you think they need to switch up Snatch Game in another way, or just keep it like plain Jane, keep it the same?
I feel like just keep it the same. Like. It's just like the matter of like why fix what isn't broken. Like, I mean, I totally get it when they did it like for All Stars 4, but then that's just because like most of the queens really did well during that challenge, or like when they did it on All Star 7 when it was all winners, where you had to like do 2 different characters during commercial breaks. So, I mean, if they were kind of if they had to kind of like switch up the format, I feel like it should have been done in that way as opposed to like an entirely different format. I mean, especially like for example on season 11, didn't they do like what was that Snatch Game on
deck? Yeah,
on deck.
But it was still Snatch Game, but like on a ship.
Yeah, I mean like. I don't know. It just like it felt weird to me. But
that
like,
season 11, yeah, I did not like the Snatch Game on deck for some reason. I mean, it was one of the worst Snatch Games like in Drag Race history.
Yeah,
but that episode gave us one of the best lip syncs in Drag Race history, so I'm not mad.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but I mean, the format in general. I just wish that at least like with this cast, I feel like we should have been given like the OG Snatch Game format.
I agree. Um, so it's James, and James goes, "Hey Matt, you seem like a homosexual." And Matt and RuPaul die, and Matt asks James to describe their feet, and um, James goes, "I didn't know this was a pop quiz." It's Quentin Tarantino behind that wall. Reveal yourself.
No, and this is what I like about James, right? Like it's like she's a comedy queen, and so and like it's really smart, especially since like it's very quintessential like Jennifer Coolidge. Like we've never even like heard her say that in real life, but it's like, yeah, I can totally
She
see
would
Jennifer.
definitely say this.
Exactly,
Yeah,
she would
exactly.
definitely say that, and that's why I find it amazing, like how James really like did the whole Jennifer Coolidge shtick. So
I agree. I
it
think
was so amazing.
she carried this entire team basically.
I totally agree. Yeah.
With the exception, I did think that Heidi did well, but not on the same level as James. And it makes me wonder what did we miss out on season 9? Like, did we miss like a lot of great James moments on season 9 because she was first boot? I'm kind of bummed.
We were really robbed of like the James Mansfield experience on season 9, and that's why like again like I'm happy that she came back for this season, and like we're seeing really more of what she can bring to the table.
Same question goes to Heidi, and Heidi starts describing her peg leg. She describes it as something smooth, round, and you're gonna get a splinter, baby. It's a peg leg. Did that make you laugh when you watched it?
I mean, like I'm laughing now because like I totally forgot that was like the punchline to that. I was like, oh yeah. And again, like I think it's it really was like a nice joke, and again, like I'm glad that it's paying off for a character that again, like we don't have much content for, and yeah.
Next question is to Kahana. Kahana's asked what her beauty secret is. Her response was filters. Another dead silent moment. At this moment I felt really bad for Kahana because she's getting, that edit that they give the drag queens that they're struggling, and like they get the rattlesnake noise, the dead silence, the cricket. Like
I totally forgot that I actually have a shade button from like the actual like the one I got from DragCon.
Oh my god, I need one of those buttons because I wish I could just press that button at any given time. But
we'll definitely press it like sometime later.
She gets the silent treatment, and then she proceeds to say that no one is naturally beautiful, and if they are, how much do they pay their doctor? And then Heidi goes, "You need a refund for that joke." Was that mean for Heidi to say?
I mean, it's mean, like if somebody says that like in real life, but like in this context, like in this Snatch Game, it's pretty good. Like I mean, if
that made me laugh.
That really made me laugh. Yeah. So.
I mean, it was at the expense of Kahana's bad jokes, but
I mean like it was the only way to save that joke. So
literally, and obviously Kahana gets triggered, so she responds with a good Coco Montrese joke, and she says, "Y'all bitches better keep it cute," and I'm not joking, bitch.
See, I think that was I think that was a really great attempt of like trying to like redeem herself, at least in that context. Like that was like the perfect opportunity for you to say that joke. So at least good for Kahana for trying that.
Yeah. And Heidi goes, "There you go."
Exactly. There you go.
There you go. It was just sad to watch Kahana kind of like be in her head about this, and especially after the Heidi trying to volley and give her materials, I think that even like crushed her even more.
Yeah.
So moving on, next question is, Jessica, what is your beauty secret? And Jessica says, with leche, and she starts rubbing this imaginary milk all over her face, and she goes, it's just ridiculous. Like it's funny, it's funny in a ridiculous way, but other than that, I'm not like laughing out loud, like gaffling out here, if that's even a word.
Yeah, again, to your, it's like what you said earlier, right? It was just becoming one note. She's just kind of like doing like that whole like the same thing over and over again, and it's just like, yeah, it was like getting pretty old and tiring easily. So
And then unpromptedly, Jessica gets up and starts playing the maracas, and it was like, it would have been a cute moment had it not been so random. Like if there was a question about music or something, I probably would have laughed, but I didn't find this to be too funny.
it didn't make me laugh either. It was just like,
why are we listening to maracas?
Exactly. Like suddenly there were just like maracas where it's just like it totally felt random. So
yeah, it felt like Jessica brought these maracas and was like, well, shit, I don't think I'm getting anything that's gonna make sense. Let me just bust out these maracas real quick.
It seemed pretty desperate. So.
Like, look at me. I mean, I guess that's the whole point of this challenge, but it needs to make sense.
Exactly.
The next question is for James. And the question is, James, look at contestant number 3, look into their eyes and tell me what you see. And James says, I can tell that she's wearing contacts. That made me die.
It made me laugh too, right? It's like that. It's similar to what was that joke from season 7? Where are you from, Adele? My house. That kind of like it was just stupid and literal.
Oh, we had a similar moment with Lala earlier in the Snatch Game we didn't talk about, but the joke was, Sukihana, you live in Atlanta, you record in Miami, where do you call home? And Lala was like, Houston.
Yeah. It was just like it's like those moments, right? Like you just don't expect that, and then somebody just says something very literal and stupid, where it's just like it's funny and it works. So
next, Heidi goes, why do your lips look like that? They look like you kissed a baboon's ass. And James goes, thank you.
What's wrong? I feel like this needs to be a meme or like reaction.
RuPaul's face during this challenge. There were so many memeable moments from RuPaul, from the Queens, this Snatch Game. I was very much satisfied. But yeah, when James said thank you, that killed RuPaul right then and there. Same question for Jessica. Jessica, look into the eyes of Heidi and tell us what you see. And she goes, Terrible makeup. No lies were detected.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was funny, but it also felt like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but like it felt like she was kind of like copying the approach that James did
Yeah,
earlier. So it was just like,
exactly.
okay.
It didn't land quite as well as James's joke.
Yeah.
And Heidi responds, I'm sorry, she's cross-eyed. that made me laugh like
Yeah.
out loud.
And that's why like it's good, right? It's great that Heidi is able to kind of like do like these kinds of like banters and like
Exactly,
yeah.
because Jessica just toasted the fuck out of Heidi, and Heidi had a good rebuttal back that was funny. And
Yeah.
that's what Snatch Game is all about.
Exactly.
Like, even if a queen is shading you in your performance or giving a joke towards your way, like, that's another opportunity for you to rebuttal and have another moment
Exactly.
to make another joke. So I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like Heidi, she didn't do an amazing job, but I feel like she did play Snatch Game better than the other two contestants aside from James.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like overall, James was the obvious standout, and then like Heidi was like a close second.
I agree. um, Kahana's asked, what color would her wedding dress be if they were to get married? And this was just tragic because at first she was like, well, depending on the filter, it will change the hue. So the color could be pink, yellow, purple, maybe orange. She was like listing colors and it was not really going anywhere. And people were like just sitting there patiently waiting for her joke to end.
Yeah, and it's just like, when I was like watching this in my head, I'm like, this was like the obvious answer is just say orange.
Yeah, you don't have to say a whole story to get to the punchline, which is ultimately orange. It could have been funny, but once he said, "You know what? I'm gonna wear orange," like at that point, I didn't even feel like laughing at that.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like the joke was kind of like handed to you. That was like the perfect time for you to just say orange, or say something like, "Look how orange I look," or something like that.
Exactly.
And then she just like really made it like boring, and it was just like, ugh.
It was tragic.
It was tragic. It was really cringy, honestly, watching it. So.
And when she finally gets to the joke, Heidi opens up her map, passes it to Jessica, and says, Jessica, hand this to her so she can find the joke.
I forgot she said that. So
I was dying. This is a map to find your joke, bitch, because you clearly need a map to find the jokes.
And that's why, like, sometimes like the jokes that you need to make aren't even like from your own, right? Like sometimes you really have to like find the opportunity in like making fun of other people, and then yeah.
I know a lot of people online were kind of like saying, oh, Heidi's doing the most because Kahana is clearly struggling. Why kick a person while she's down? But this is like, I feel like you were supposed to do this, and not only that, she brought a map for a reason. She was gonna do the joke regardless, no matter who was gonna bomb. So it's just unfortunate that Kahana was the person that had to bomb this challenge for the map joke to come out.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and it's just like I was gonna say, like, I mean, it's Snatch Game. Like you have to expect like anything can be made fun of at this moment, whether it's like somebody making a mistake or somebody really like insulting you as part of their joke. I mean, like you're gonna have to keep an open mind because like that's pretty much the point of this challenge. Like, you have to like do whatever it takes to make Rue laugh, and like, uh, I don't know. I just personally felt like I get I get why some people would think that Heidi was kind of like, you know, adding insult to injury, if you will, to Kana, but then like maybe Kahana should have actually been funny. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel the same way. And Heidi is just so pleased with her map joke. She she's like, yes, I'm being yes, I did that funny thing. I did that. Meanwhile, Kahana is glaring at Heidi. She is pissed that Heidi is making jokes at the expense of Kahana's terrible jokes. And she has a confessional about how she feels like Heidi's pushing her down and doesn't need to kick her while she is down. We kind of touched upon this, but like, do you feel where Kahana's coming from? Is she all up in her feelings?
I feel like she's just like all up in her feelings. I get why she would feel that, or like she would think that, just because like she's already struggling, she's very emotional right now, and then she thinks like, you know, Heidi is like, again, like adding insult to injury, but then again, like you're playing Snatch Game, like deal with
And
it.
this is a show for $200,000. So if I'm gonna stand out however I can. So I feel like that is the name of the game. But I do feel for Kahana because like she's obviously not the best at these sort of challenges. So she kind of I feel like what happened with her is that she kind of came in expecting to struggle. And when you do that, you're already setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah,
So
like having like a very defeatist attitude, and like, yeah, it sucks, and I get it. Like, it's her first time; she's never done Snatch Game before. Heidi's already done it before, so she already kind of like knows what to expect and how to go about this. But then again, like, I'm pretty sure like she's seen how other Snatch Games were in past seasons, so like she should have known better than to just like.
and that's where my biggest gripe is that the queens have obviously seen previous seasons of Snatch Game, and there's multiple instances of the queens bantering off of each other back and forth, being shady with one another, and
Exactly.
they got along just fine. And so
Exactly.
I was a little confused. But Kahana's so pissed. She says, "Exit stage left, little boy."
I mean, that was actually, yeah, that was very quintessential Coco.
But like you can tell Kahana is meaning everything that she is saying. Like she's trying to impersonate Coco by using her quotes, but she is dead ass. She wants Heidi to leave. she is so fed up with her. Ultimately, Matt chooses James, Jennifer Coolidge. Do you think Matt chose the correct person?
Oh, without a doubt. Like, I would definitely choose Jennifer Coolidge.
And
as
I would
well.
definitely choose Matt.
No, you would.
Those two lovebirds. The next group, we have Alexis Michelle as B. Arthur, Candy Muse as Renee Graziano, Lala as Sukihana, and Jimbo as Shirley Temple. Can we just get into into Jimbo's Shirley Temple makeup real quick, and how she just looks exactly like Shirley Temple? Like, it's ridiculous.
It's very on point, and again, like, this is like, I wouldn't say it's like surprising, but like, we don't usually know Jimbo as somebody who's like very polished, or like very really like good with makeup and like stuff like that. And so for her to like really be on point with this one, it was really nice.
This was like a masterclass of Snatch Game. Like, not only the look, but the mannerisms of Shirley Temple to the creepy doll that she's holding that she kept shaking for some reason. I kept looking at the damn doll because I was a little creeped out.
It was distracting, yeah.
It was distracting. But again, like it's insane. We'll get more into it. But the next bachelor is Bowen Yang. Super cute guy. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, like again, like I recognize Bowen from Fire Island, and like I think he was also in the movie Bro. So,
and he's also on SNL.
Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, that's where I probably recognize him the most. Because like I knew he looked familiar, but then like I've seen his like more recent work. So yeah.
So Bowen Yang asks Alexis Michelle how they would make their camping trip romantic. And Alexis responds, first, they would read the collected works of William Shakespeare, which right off the bat killed Rupaul. And killed me too, because if you ever read Shakespeare or Shakespearean play, it's so dry, but it's dry in a B. Arthur kind of way. So that was so perfect. And then she goes and says, and then we'll get drunk and land in jail. I thought that was really cute. A really cute moment from Alexis.
Oh yeah, it really was. And like now that I think about it too, I'm glad at least like B. Arthur was like portrayed by somebody like Alexis, because I think like I know that she can actually carry this role well.
This was a big acting role. Like the other characters are like caricatures, but this you really have to tap into the character of B. Arthur to make it work.
Exactly, and like make it funny as well, right? And like like given what kind of like queen and like the persona of like Alexis Michelle is, it's like it to some extent like it does feel like very on brand for
like
Alexis.
This is a perfect character for Alexis Michelle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like with the mannerisms of B. Arthur, like Alexis is holding her arms, and for people who don't know B. Arthur, it might look like she's nervous, but no. That's how B. Arthur was on the show every time. She was in that pose. She was that dry. Excuse me. She was that dry, but dry in a funny way.
Yeah.
And I feel like she captured that really well.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Candy Muse as Renee
Graziano.
I had no idea who Renee Graziano was.
Me either.
But I didn't really have to know to kind of get this character. It reminded me of, like, again, Pearl's Big Ange character a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, me not knowing, but having that smoker voice and just having that, like, New Yorker kind of attitude. I kind of got who she was. At the same time, though, I did feel like this was just like a Candy Muse personification of Renee Graziano. Like, if that makes sense. Like this was like her being Renee, but also Candy Muse at the same time.
And it's funny you bring up that point, because like I remember on her original season, like she played Patrick Star, but it was just like literally just like Candy being as herself, dressed up as Patrick Star. And I had a huge bone to pick with that one. And it's I at least like with this time, I feel like it's a much better choice.
I agree. This was way better than her Patrick Star. And I do agree. When I feel like queens are just playing themselves as like they're just being themselves, but they're supposed to be a different character, it does take away from the challenge.
Yeah.
Like I distinctly remember a moment where Silky Nutmeg Ganache won the Snatch Game when she was what's her name?
She was supposed to be T.S.
Madison.
Yeah.
And like I'm not saying like okay, I am kind of saying like she didn't deserve to win, but like It's because she was being herself. Like she would like what was I saying? Well, Silky was just being herself as T.S. Madison. So when she won, I also had a problem then.
Yeah.
So I just feel like the queens need to be able to tap in more to the character they're playing and not play themselves if they want to win Snatch Game.
Because it just feels like it just feels like safe, you know, because like you know that this is kind of like your comfort zone where it's like, yeah, like you can just literally just be yourself or like play as yourself, and then just like changing it up like a bit. And it's like there's not much effort in there as opposed to like other queens who are really like playing an entirely different character from themselves. And it's just like that's way more impressive than somebody who's just like, yeah, like it's still your voice, it's still your mannerisms, you're just dressed as the person. Like there's not really much effort there. So
next we have Lala. And Lala's asked their opinion on open relationships. Lala says, as long as both their bank accounts are open, all is good in the hood.
Amen.
Period. You want to talk about open relationships? How open is that bank account, sweetie? I thought that was really cute from Lala.
Yeah. And
what are you saying?
I'm glad that, you know, Lala is like, I'm glad we're seeing Lala play the Snatch Game because, like, I think, like, at least, like, on her original season 2, like, I expected that, like, or like, I had a huge feeling that she was gonna kill the Snatch Game. So I'm glad we got to see Lala actually be on the Snatch Game.
Same. I'm glad that we get to see more of Lala, period, because we did not get much from her.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that we did get wasn't great, like
the bag
look. A la the bag look. But on top of that, like I do feel like Lala is doing okay in this season thus far, and I'm waiting for her to have her super shine moment. That I feel like she can pull off.
Yeah.
One of my biggest things with Lala so far is that it feels like she's almost there, like she's warming up in terms of like killing the challenges and the runway, but I feel like she still needs a little bit more cooking time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like she could be a slow burn, right? So like maybe her momentum is just like rising up and up and up, and like who knows, maybe in the latter half, if she's still there, in the latter half of the competition, that we're gonna really see the full Lala experience.
I cannot wait. Jimbo is next, and Bowen asked Jimbo what song describes their love life. Her response is "The Good Ship Lollipop," because she's a quick trip to the candy shop. And I thought that was cute.
It really was cute.
She then says, "She's 100 years old, Rue." And Alexis asks, "And what years? Dog years?" And Jimbo goes, "I don't know. You tell me. You're the bitch."
and this is like what we expected from Jimbo, and I'm glad we're like, and in my head I'm like, I'm glad we have Jimbo again on TV. So
and see, Alexis threw shade with the dog comment from Jimbo, and Jimbo came right back with the volley, and that's what makes these moments like that much even more funnier in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is what Heidi was probably trying to do earlier on the episode. So yeah.
Bowen asked Lala, what kind of dog or what kind of animal would she be? Lala says, "I would be a poodle because this pussy barks." All right. I thought that was cute, but it didn't really like make me laugh out loud. So I just thought it was okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was okay as well. I think it was a good response, maybe probably coming from that character.
Right.
I probably seen on character, and again, like I don't really know much of the character as well, but like it probably does make sense. You know,
Yeah. Again, like, maybe if I knew Tsukihane more, I would laugh a little bit more, but
yeah,
I couldn't really relate. But I did see this character saying it, so it made sense.
yeah.
Alexis is asked where's the strangest place she's made whoopee. And then she proceeds to say she made whoopee at George Papard's pool house. RuPaul asks if George and the whole A team were there, and she says, of course, I'm an opportunist. I thought that was really funny coming from B. Arthur.
And again, like it's coming from a person, like you could tell like Alexis really did her homework on this one, and like you could easily tell that it's like a theater or like a Broadway person doing this character, and so I'm glad that Alexis is the one who's like doing B. Arthur, because I feel like if it was any other drag queen, maybe
they would have flopped.
They would have flopped.
Like being a Golden Girl is really hard because, I mean, it's an older show, so the jokes are drier in nature.
Yeah,
and they're really only relatable to RuPaul and a few other people. So you need to make sure that if you're going to swing that kind of bat, you don't miss. And I think Alexis has hit every single thing that RuPaul has sent her way perfectly with her responses.
I agree.
Candy kept passing everyone's cigarettes that I've noticed. And so eventually everyone on the cast had a cigarette to smoke. I thought that was cute. They just couldn't highlight it more. And the next question is to Jimbo. Where's the strangest place you've made whoopee? And at first I was like, oh no, this question's for Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
Her response was perfect. It was, what did you like to know, you pervert?
Yeah, that was real, like the smartest response you could give, because like again, like to your point, right? Like we were all kind of like, oh shoot, like how are they gonna approach this? Like, so I'm glad that Jimbo actually said that.
And then Jimbo gets up and starts tap dancing. Just tap dances her life away. She dances better than she has ever danced during any of her lip sync.
Now I need to press the shade button.
I did not know Jimbo could move like that. She was tap dancing with rhythm. And Candy's face while Jimbo was tap dancing was priceless. Get this bitch off the fucking stage, basically, is what Candy was looking like right here. And RuPaul's eating everything that Jimbo is doing.
Yeah.
And from this moment, I just knew that Jimbo was going to win the competition. Because, like, you just don't see that every day. Like, queens tapping into that physical comedy and doing it so well to the fact where people are laughing out loud. I did not expect to laugh out loud at this grown-ass man tap dancing as Shirley Temple. Like, it was something that I didn't expect and something I didn't think I would want nor need, but it's something that I'm very glad that I got.
Yeah.
Received.
Like, we're all thankful that we were given that moment. So...
So Bowen picks Jimbo. He says, I might get put on the registry for this, but I'm going to have to pick contestant number 4.
And he will.
And he will. The curtain is pulled back and Jimbo is towering over Bowen Yang. And Shirley and Jimbo goes, "Wow, you're so small. You're so cute." And Bowen goes, "Wow." That's all Bowen had to say was "wow."
Wow.
Wow. The two couples come together to commit a crime. The nogging, which I don't have a picture for the nogging, but they nogged.
You know.
They nogged down the house. They nogged the house down boots, mama. And they lived happily ever after. Moving on to the workroom, the queens, for the most part, feel like they did a great job. Aside from Kahana Montrese, she goes and she whispers to Candy Muse. Yesterday was like really not it. I felt like Heidi was attacking me, basically, is what Kahana was saying.
Yeah.
And Candy felt the need to chime in and say, you know what? Heidi's also being weird because I heard that she told Jimbo something, this fake tea that I was coming after her. And from this moment, I just knew that things were going to get messy.
Yeah. Shit's going to go down.
Candy has a confessional saying that Heidi's spreading false, fake tea. Are you buying what Candy is selling? Chrissy?
I feel like no. I this is where I kind of like have a problem with this whole situation. I just feel like Heidi's not the type of person, especially with what we've seen about Heidi, like from her original season and like from the show so far. Like I don't think Heidi's the type of person to just really like spread like rumors or like you know false stuff like that if she hasn't like actually heard it from somebody before.
Yeah, I agree. Like, this is so random. They were supposed to be in an alliance from episode 1.
Yeah.
Jimbo, Heidi, and Candy. So I just thought this was way out of left field unless it actually happened. And moving on, Jessica has this conversation with Jimbo and says they're not sure how they're feeling. They think they didn't do the best, but they certainly didn't do the worst.
Yeah.
Which is an accurate statement. But she's a little nervous heading into this. And she says that she knows that she can do better.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think
and that's totally fair. Yeah.
I think Jessica could have done better. It just wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Kahana begins to have a conversation with Alexis, but she redirects her focus to Heidi and addresses her feelings and says, I really think that you're just like pushing me, like kicking me while I was down, which is not cute, girl. If you were in this situation, would you like publicly address this with your sister, or would you try and like resolve it another way?
I feel like that conversation should have happened privately, or more so like you just maybe pull Heidi aside, you guys talk it out, but instead like Hana really like, I feel like it was obviously like deliberate in what she did of like trying to call Heidi out publicly just to kind of like, I don't know, like maybe embarrass her right then and there and put her on the spot. I just felt like unfair. And then again, like if you're feeling some type of way about somebody, like just like address that person privately. At least like that's how I would personally approach it. So I didn't appreciate like Ahana doing that just because like she was feeling emotional about what happened. So yeah.
I agree. They're supposed to be sisters. I mean, It's obviously a TV show, so the cameras are probably still gonna have to be present, but
yeah,
like we're all kikiing, getting makeup together, and this is like everyone's dragged into this now. And if you look at Heidi's face, she's confused. She's like, girl, what? like I was doing this to you?
Exactly.
Do you think Heidi lacks the self-awareness to know that she was affecting Kahana in such a way, or do you think it's understandable that she's genuinely confused about where Kahana's coming from?
I think it's understandable. And again, like I'm glad Kahana did like speak up and like say something. Sorry, like I don't know why my eyes are like
No,
itchy right
allergies are fucking
now.
me up
Yeah,
this
it's
season.
allergy season and all that, but like
Stock up on Claritin, y'all.
there we go. But yeah, like I again like I'm I don't blame Heidi for like feeling that way because I would have reacted the same way. I'd be like confused and I'm like, why? What? Where are you? Why are you mad? And again, if Kahana just like addressed this privately, it would have, it never would have like escalated into this, right?
Yeah, Heidi in her confessional says she had no idea. And she's honestly hurt that Kahana thinks that she was trying to sabotage her. So now Heidi's the hurt one here. Do you think
Yeah,
she's valid in being hurt here?
I think it was like valid, but like also I do see why. I mean, and that's the reason why like you hash it out, you discuss, you talk, and clear things up. And I'm glad like Heidi approached this situation in the way that she did. Um, like Heidi really like approached the situation with charm, and she took it like very cordially, and like she apologized. She was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize like you were feeling this way. I didn't mean to like actually put you down or sabotage you." And that's like pretty much like the right way to like approach this moment, because like it could have gone in a different direction in which Heidi would have just like, "Oh, I never said that. I wasn't doing that, blah blah blah," and it would have just been
Right.
a bigger fight. So I'm glad that Heidi addressed the situation well. I just wish Kahana would have like approached, or at least like brought up the situation to her in a much better way.
I agree. I think Heidi handled this as best as she could. Like she was very compassionate and understanding. She even
Yeah.
apologized immediately to Kahana, which I don't think Kahana was receptive to it initially too much.
Yeah. Like I
Um,
mean, like what more did you want from Heidi? Like if you're just trying to like get retaliate and get back at her, like if you felt embarrassed, now you're trying to embarrass Heidi in front of like the other queens. I mean, like that's just like very tacky to me.
yeah,
So
so like what yeah, she said she's sorry, like she said she didn't mean it in that way. So like now I just feel like you're internalizing this and you want to internalize it the way that you want
yeah.
to.
Because like
um,
in a way you're it just feels like now you're just like blaming Heidi for like your failure in the snatch game, and it's just like
yeah, exactly.
it
And
yeah, she was probably just finding like a reason to like, or somebody to blame for that.
yeah.
So
I mean, we've all been there, like wanting it so bad to not address ourselves as us being the problem, but you just have to like take ownership of where you went wrong and not like place all that energy onto Heidi
exactly.
unfairly. Um, but moving on. Um, yeah, Heidi tries to explain to Kana, I was just trying to give you things to volley off of, girl. Like
Yeah,
you could have like took the jabs and rolled with it. And Kahana was basically saying like, I couldn't even get the jokes that Rupaul were giving me. Why are you expecting me to go off the joke like volley off the jokes that you were giving me?
yeah.
Is that a valid argument?
No, I feel like I was in my head. I'm like, that sounds like a you problem, like not like a Heidi problem. Or
Thank you.
it's just like it's like be thankful at least Heidi is trying to kind of like, throw you. It's like throwing you a
Because no one
bone.
else is interacting with you at all. Like
Exactly.
Heidi is like interacting. Like sure, it's in this way where like it's funny because you're bombing so hard, but you're also given multiple chances to not bomb as hard, to like make a joke that lands.
Exactly.
So I
Or
feel for Heidi here. She was trying to explain like, girl, I was not being malicious. I was just trying to play the snatch game, and Kahana was just not receiving it.
yeah, and like it was obvious like that she had like good intentions of like really trying to like help Kahana out, and like I mean like if you were really like pressed about that, I mean like Kahana could have just like, then why didn't you like insult Heidi back then, like during the Snatch game? Why
Right.
don't you make fun of like the Blackbeard character as well? Like she could have done the same thing, and Heidi wouldn't have like taking it like
She could have used a filter joke. She could have been like, no amount of filters could help that makeup girl. Like,
exactly.
or something. Like, just say something.
Yeah.
James has a confessional, kind of reiterating what we were kind of expressing. Like, we think Heidi was just playing playing Snatch Game the way God intended. And I agree. Like, Snatch Game, at the end of the day, it's a competition. And not only that, you're dealing with a whole bunch of characters. You're gonna have to stand out in any way possible. And if that means volleying off of not only what RuPaul's saying, but what the queens are saying, then everything's fair game, in my opinion.
Exactly. No, I'm glad James said that, and I'm glad somebody from the cast thinks that way and says that way, because like if if the rest of the queens were also kind of like ganging up on Heidi, or like they were probably siding with Kahana, I would have had like so much to say about this episode.
My thing is, if you feel this way, and if other queens feel like Heidi wasn't doing anything wrong, maybe they should say that out loud and not say it only in confessionals.
Yeah.
just so that Heidi can have some people backing, like in her corner, backing her up.
Yeah, or just to kind of like, maybe put Kahana in her place as well, to kind of like, tone down the ego a bit and like get off their high horse and like.
Right. Like, you bombed the challenge, get over it. Like,
exactly.
Anywho, in the middle of Heidi apologizing to Kahana, Candy interrupts what Heidi is saying and says, "Okay, since we're all talking about family and stuff, Heidi, why did you tell Jimbo that I was gunning after her?" And as soon as Candy says this, the tea hits the fan. The queens are getting their life.
Oh gosh.
Lala's getting ready in the corner, but she is sipping all of the tea.
We were all making that face when that happened. So.
We have that oop face and a oop. And I just love Heidi's response. Because you did? You did say that. Alexis?
I'm so freaking glad that she said that, and like she really like called out and like asked Alexis for like validation, because again, like I just don't see Heidi being the type of person to just like make shit up and like spread false rumors or like spread stuff to people without like for no reason.
And usually if someone is lying, they take like a few seconds before they say something like a response. But Candy was like, "Heidi, why did you tell Jimbo I was gunning after her?" And Heidi is like, "Because you did." Like that was like right off the bat, like so smooth. Because you did. Alexis, like, I'm inclined to think that Heidi's not lying here, because she said like there was no hesitation. She's dead serious. She's asking Alexis for validation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like we're not like psychologists here, are like
self-proclaimed
or like masters of body language, but like like you could tell, right? Sometimes like you can just like feel, or you could tell when somebody is actually telling the truth. Like it just seemed like, yeah, Heidi was like,
it was a natural response.
It was a natural response, and that's why, like, again, like, and especially like if Heidi has a witness, it all the more it makes it more credible. But then,
so Heidi says Alexis was present when Candy was saying all of this, and it cuts to Alexis, and it looks like she just saw a ghost. Like, Alexis is shitting bricks right now. And Heidi says, "Tell the truth, shame the devil," hoping that Alexis would take her side. And Heidi's like, oh no. She already knows. Some shenanigans are coming. She knows this bitch is about to about to say something crazy. Alexis has a confessional and says, I'm just trying to like flatline in this conversation. She's trying to play Switzerland. Do you respect that kind of attitude in this situation?
I didn't like not at all. I didn't like how she kind of like, if you notice, right, like if you've seen the episode when Heidi asked Alexis for the first time,
oh, we're about to get to it. We're about to get into that.
Right. We're about to get to that in a bit. But like I get why. I respect the fact that Alexis was really trying to stay neutral and like maybe trying to stay away from like the drama as much as possible. And I respect that. Like I probably would too. But
if someone had beef with someone else, but they needed your help with validating a point because you were there, do you contribute to that conversation even though the conversation doesn't really involve you?
Yeah, I mean, like if somebody's literally just like asking you to just like, hey, did this or did this not happen? Like it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna be sucked into that drama automatically, whether you respond. I mean, whether you say yes or no. I mean, like somebody literally was just like asking for validation or confirmation if something happened, and then you can just say, yeah, he did, or you can just say, no, I never heard that. But like how Alexis like approached it was just, well.
So Alexis begins to nod, and then she even says, I nodded because Candy said that to me. And then you have Candy, oh, so that's what I said? Exactly what I said. And then Alexis goes, no. Like she takes 5 full seconds to think about it and then says no. So this is what we mean. Like she had to think about it. She has the squinty eyes going. And literally, it just feels like she was afraid of Candy Muse and the wrath that she might have received if she had said yes.
And this is like, again, this is like the basic lesson of like how to lie and how to tell the truth. So
exactly.
And it's
first of all, if you want to lie, you should probably say the lie and the lie only, not the truth first and then the lie.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off the most. It's like you already said yes, and now you're taking it back because some like you probably just felt intimidated or you just didn't want to really like get sucked into that drama. But now you're like. You're kind of
now all eyes are on you, girl, because it seems like you just don't know what like. Are you even a credible source now? Like, can we trust you with anything?
And like, not to mention, like you're making Heidi look not really stupid, but also like didn't it ever occur to Alexis's head that Heidi would also get mad if she suddenly decides to take it back? It was just weird.
It was probably Alexis trying to decide which side she wanted to take here. Like, do I take Heidi's side and what would that mean for me? And do I take Candy's side and what would that mean for me?
Yeah, that was probably like the 5 seconds in her. It's like
exactly. Like, which alliance am I going to stay true to?
It was just like, I was so over it.
Which I feel like she chose the wrong alliance because why do you want to help Candy Muse excel in this season? Like I feel like it would behoove you to say the truth and say, yeah, Candy Muse she said that, girl. She said that Jimbo, if you land in the bottom, she would take that shot at you. And why? Because that would cause drama between Jimbo and Candy. And if Jimbo wins another competition and wins a lip sync by the grace of God, she could probably send a big competition home like Candy Muse. Or vice versa, like Candy Muse. Like even if Candy Muse wins the next episode, she has more incentive to send Jimbo home if they have this drama this episode about Candy and Jimbo targeting each other.
Yeah.
But instead, you chose to pretend like it didn't happen. And then we got this moment with Heidi saying, Alexis is taking both sides. At first, she decided to agree with me. Now she's not. She thinks there's shade involved. And Candy's like, well, Jimbo said that Heidi was throwing me under, or Jimbo said that Heidi was throwing me under the bus. And Jimbo says, I did not say that Heidi was throwing you under the bus. All I said was Heidi said I needed to come talk to you because apparently you were gunning for me. And then Candy, this is how you know Candy was lying. Because Candy says, even if all of this were true, aren't we all sisters? Aren't we all supposed to be loyal and not tell each other's business like this? And in my head, I'm like, girl, you just confirmed that you did say this and you were expecting Heidi to not say anything about it.
Exactly. And like, it's kind of like a weird tactic too, right? Like you're trying to like change the subject, shift the focus onto like something else. And it was just like, you just got caught like lying or like saying these shady stuff and you're getting called out on it. And it's just like, you're trying to like shift the attention to something else. And it's just like, it was just like a mess. It was just like, oh gosh, it was just like a snowball effect where it's just like, oh gosh, it gets worse and worse and worse for everybody.
She was like, are we all sisters? Aren't we all supposed to be loyal? And then Jimbo goes, well, Heidi was being loyal to me. So, fair. Heidi goes in a confessional. We're supposed to be in an alliance, and you're telling me that you would target Jimbo, but you want to question my integrity. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and that's why, if you ask me, like, I'm totally on like Team Heidi here. I'm totally on the Heidi side. Like, it's clear that she was telling the truth. She brought it up to Jimbo, and with good reason too. It's not like Heidi was being catty or was trying to like cause some sort of riff. It was more so like, again, Heidi, Candy, and Jimbo had an alliance. Candy saying something that goes against the alliance or her possibly turning on the alliance, wouldn't you be concerned about that if you were part of the alliance? Also, I think it was also with good reason that Heidi brought it up to Jimbo, and now that all of this is coming to light, and now we have Candy trying to like deny it, and then Alexis also kind of like, you know,
yes, no, maybe so.
it's just it was such a shit show that it frustrated. I was like frustrated for Heidi
because the whole time Heidi was consistent. Like her face never changed, her story never changed.
Because Heidi was like telling the truth the entire time, and it's just like it's frustrating, right? Like if it actually happened to you where you were trying to tell your truth, or like if you were actually telling the truth and people aren't like believing you or like twisting what you're trying to say and making it seem like you're the one who's lying, it's frustrating, right?
Yeah, especially that's like knowing that you're being purposefully gaslit in this situation does not feel good.
Exactly.
Candy, her argument is saying she's upset because none of this is true, and because of this false information, Jimbo might take it and send her ass home because this is a democracy where the queens vote each other off. Fair or not fair?
I mean, like, it's fair to have like these feelings, but again, like, Candy was in the wrong with this. I mean, like, Candy just got caught saying that shady stuff, and now
you're big fans of Big Brother and Survivor, girl. You got caught with your lies and schemes, and now you're doing a lot of backtracking because you don't want to get your ass sent
exactly
home.
And now you're playing the victim too. It's frustrating, and it's just like it's really annoying.
Yeah. Jimbo hides behind the fan because the tension in the room is so thick you can cut it with a knife. Heidi says, it's so silent in this room, you can hear a rat piss on cotton. which made me laugh out loud. I'm going to start using that phrase a lot more often. And Alexis is just so stressed. She needs sage and candles lit immediately. Come on, girl.
Like, girl.
Girl.
You're
Come
part of the
on
reason
now.
why.
Exactly. How you gonna bring the ghost into my house and then want to light a damn candle at the same time?
God.
Like, come on now. Heidi has had enough. She's getting emotional. You can see it in her eyes. She's really sad. And she tells Jimbo, I'm so sorry, but I just want you to know that everything I told you is what I've heard and is my truth. And when we get to the vote tonight, just vote Heidi. And everyone is just, what? No, girl. No, we don't want you to go. Y'all don't want her to go? Y'all should have acted like y'all didn't want her to go when she was going through this mess 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, again, like, I don't blame Heidi for doing what she did, because like, if you were in that situation, I know emotions were high, and it's just like, again, like, it's hurtful, it's frustrating, and like, you're being
She probably
gaslit.
feels like the whole room is against her because no one is taking her side.
Exactly.
Which, at that point, if you know the queens are going to vote people off at the end of the day, she's probably feeling like she's going to go home regardless. So that's probably why she left.
Yeah, and for all of the wrong reasons as well, right? And it's like it's like, you would think that you, again, to Candy's point about like sisterhood and stuff like that, it just felt like very hypocritical for her to say that, because it just feels like, at least like, if you were Heidi and you were here, and you heard Candy saying that after all of the stuff that's been said, it just felt like, really, it's like, you're gonna throw the whole sisterhood card when you're doing shit like this.
Exactly.
It's just, like, I just like felt so frustrated for Heidi, and I don't blame her for what she did.
So people are like, no, don't go, and immediately Heidi drops the peace sign and she runs out the door. And the first two queens to address her as she's leaving the door is, surprisingly, Candy and Alexis, the two queens that this drama was revolved around. Candy insisting that Heidi's lying, and Alexis double downing and saying that she never had said that and she wasn't present. These two queens are the first people to try and get Heidi to stay in the competition. That's crazy.
It's like, I think for me, the way I saw it was like, it just shows how they were
guilty they are.
Yeah.
They're so guilty. It's like, you ever remember, like, as a kid, if you're playing around and you did something that you're not supposed to, like you accidentally hurt one of your fellow little kids, and the parents come, they're like, what happened? And
you try to cover it up, and like,
right,
like, oh no,
right, everything's fine, like everything's okay, nothing happened, like that's the energy I was getting.
It was pretty much that, basically.
Like, they were trying to bring back Heidi because they realized that the gaslighting games have gone too far. They're probably thinking, holy crap, what would happen if Heidi leaves?
Yeah.
Are we going through another vote?
I was kind of hoping it would be the case.
Same. And Heidi gives the look back like, bitch, get the fuck out of my face. No, but honestly, Candy's like, are you sure? Are you not going to regret this? And Heidi's like, I don't have any regrets. I'm sure. I've shown everything that I wanted to show, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and again, like, I don't blame Heidi for feeling that way. I feel like her feelings were valid. Her points were valid. I would have totally said the same thing. I wouldn't have quit, but like, but I don't blame her if she actually needed to quit right then and there, because it just felt like it was so draining, and it's like, I just felt like
Heidi was ready to go 2 episodes ago.
Right.
Like, the competition was getting to her, and I felt like this was just like the cherry on top. that like kind of escalated things to where
Oh
she had
yeah, this
gotten.
was basically like the last straw for her, right? So it was just yeah, it's sad
And
because like I
her
love
sisters
Heidi.
knew that she was going through all of this, but they still want to play these games. That's kind of crazy.
So much for sisterhood.
But Kahana is worried about being pushed and kicked while she's down. But
Yeah, and like
meanwhile,
Heidi's actually being pushed and kicked down here. Where it's just like, oh gosh, I cannot with these queens.
literally. So Lala comes and she's like, girl, your decision is your decision, and whatever decision you make, I respect. You're amazing regardless, and I love you. Which I thought was genuine. That was the most genuine thing any queen in that room has said to Heidi before she left.
Yeah, I mean, like from one miscongeniality to another. So
that was a cute moment. And then Alexis starts she cries hysterically, has a moment that, in my opinion, girl, you don't have any business having this moment. You are one of the reasons why Heidi is going home, and you don't get to cry about this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I totally agree. Like this made me stop rooting for Alexis. It's more so like I just didn't like her character, or at least I really didn't like her character this season. I mean, sorry, this episode. I'm glad that like we got to see like the snatch game, but like this was the moment that made me stop rooting for her because it just felt
Alexis
like
is a very talented queen, but like I just feel like she doesn't really know herself that much. Like she's that type of person that will flip flops at any island that seems easiest to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And that just screams insecure to me. Like, you don't know which side to choose. You don't want to take a stance on anything. You don't want to stand up for your supposed friends. And then when your friends leave, you break down and cry because you had nothing else better to do.
Exactly.
Like, I love Alexis. I think she's fierce. I think she's stunning. But I was so disappointed because, girl, this is not the first time you're making something about you when it had nothing to do with you. And on top of that, like, this moment that you're having is ironic because you could have prevented it by speaking up and telling the truth.
Yeah, and again, like this is probably her like kind of playing the victim, where it's just like, oh gosh, if like she could have just like nodded like when Heidi asked her, and then they would have just moved on, and then she wouldn't have sucked into this whole drama in the first place. So, but yeah, choices.
We get to the main stage, and RuPaul comes out in this fabulous, what do I even call it? Skirt, mini dress, cocktail dress.
Yeah, it looked like a cocktail dress to me.
It's pretty. I love it. I love RuPaul's wig. What are your thoughts on RuPaul's fashion so far?
I like her fashion so far. This look, it's pretty. I don't know why it reminds me of like the Pepsi logo. Because I literally had like a Pepsi can with me earlier. So it's like, this is what I like. So.
Not being sponsored by Pepsi. Okay, Monet Exchange. RuPaul's coming from Monet's gig.
Yep.
Michelle looks lovely. I love the hair on Michelle. Her makeup. She looks stunning.
Yeah, I only noticed the hair just now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was like black and white. It's so cute.
We get to the runway. Up first is Jessica Wilde. She begins this runway. By the way, the runway is something like reveal yourself, right? Yes, reveal yourself. Yeah.
So
a runway with a whole bunch of reveals.
Yeah.
So Jessica pays homage to her chicken act during her season 2. And I think the coat is okay. It doesn't give me chicken. Like, if I'm looking at this, I'm not getting chicken from it.
It really wasn't chicken. It was just like
I'm getting
yeah.
fabulous Big Bird. Like
exactly. I was more so thinking like it was like a yellow robe. It was like a slumber party kind of thing.
I mean, if anything, if you wanted to do the chicken into the egg, into the scrambled egg moment, like give me more chicken so that the rest
make it
of
more
the look.
obvious.
Yeah, exactly. So then she takes off the coat and she's in this egg outfit, which it's okay. It's just not elevated enough in my opinion.
Yeah. Again, like what you said earlier, make it more chicken, make it more egg. It didn't translate into egg.
It would have been cute if the middle of the outfit had like a little black line to be like a crack, like a cracked egg, and then she cracks the egg into whatever.
Yeah, it would have been more obvious, right? Like, or at least like we would have gotten like the story right then and there. But it's just like, oh, it looks like a.
What
like
if
a
she played
hospital
like a
gown.
Humpty Dumpty moment? Like she like got out of her chicken outfit, she like strut her stuff, and then she fell down on the floor. And then she gets up and she's a cracked egg.
Yeah, like the Lady Camden reveal with the whole split. Yeah, it would have. Yeah, she should have done that approach.
That would have been iconic. But she reveals her egg look into the sunny side up eggs. And from the 3 reveals, I think this is the best one that she has going for her. It is a cute look. I do like the eggs, but that's about it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I mean, like this was like the only look out of the 3 that like screamed egg. So
and even so, like you could have done something else with the egg. Like you could have put some rhinestones on that egg. Like
it really looked costumey. It was
like drag it up a little bit more, coming from non-drag queen homosexuals. Like
I mean, and again, like this is it's a letdown to me because like didn't she just win like the ball challenge a few episodes ago?
Yes.
So I was just like expecting more.
It wasn't bad, but like it wasn't all the way there.
Yeah.
Moving on is Kahana Montrese.
Oh gosh,
Kahana's just so fucking beautiful. Like, how dare she be this stunningly gorgeous,
like,
and still be insecure about certain things? Like, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. But I'm glad she did like a whole like Vegas look because like again, like it just pays tribute to like her Vegas residency because she did like the whole Drag Race Vegas thing, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, oh gosh, it was just like she was
stunning.
breathtaking.
Like she's oiled up, she is greased for the gods, and she struts down the runway, turns around, and that ass is just assing. And my only critique is that like the reveals weren't as big and noticeable as possible because she is damn near naked already, and her reveal is getting even more naked. So like she had like the what is it? It's not a G-string, but she had like a wrap thong that like unfastened and swinged underneath her leg, which was it was really sexy and hot. But besides all of that, like it was just one slight reveal into a more naked look, which both she's stunning. The runway was great, but I feel like the category could have been met a little bit more with this.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Or at least like with this particular one, if she was gonna do like a more subtle reveal, at least like maybe like she would have like parted her hair to the side so we would have seen it. Because it really wasn't apparent to me that she did the reveal up until like maybe a few seconds after this shot. Because like her hair was long and like I think that was the time that she actually did the reveal. And it was just like, oh wait, where was it? And it was like, oh, okay, so it's like a more naked kind of like reveal. And it was just like, oh, okay. It was just like very to your point, right? She was like there really wasn't much to begin with, and now you're taking off more, and it was just like it was a bit underwhelming.
I agree. Stunning, gorgeous queen, but I feel like a little bit more could have been showed to meet the what the runway demanded.
Exactly.
But moving on, we get this Muppet look from James Mansfield.
It's like Grimace for some.
Literally, I thought this was cute. She comes on the runway and she takes off the Muppet outfit to reveal her in this dress, to then reveal the dress into this corset moment in panty.
Yeah.
And then the corset moment in panty turns into a bra and panty moment. But unfortunately, the mesh nude material in the center wasn't fitting, so you kind of got this ruffly effect
Yeah.
in the center. And then she takes off her tits to reveal pasties, which is very Vegas, and I like that little nod to Vegas that she has.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see Kahana and James in the same season because they're both Vegas girls, but they have both different Vegas aesthetics, but still Vegas.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really fun to see. What did you think about James's runway?
Yeah, I really liked it. It was like quintessential James. Like it's like we expect like this very campy look and approach. It was like very James. Like you could tell it was just like on brand. And like again, like I like how it started off as like that sort of like Muppet thing. So it was kind of like unique compared to the usual like reveals that we see on the show. And so I'm glad that she took that approach. And again, it's very on brand for her.
Next is Candy Muse, and I was just thankful to get a different silhouette from Candy Muse from the get-go. This was refreshing to see. I think she looks really cute in this moment. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. Because like it's starting to get a little bit tiring for us to just see Candy in like in a corset or something like that, or a dress. So I'm glad that we're seeing this kind of like, and again, like this kind of like look as well. Like she usually goes with like the very sultry, sexy kind of thing, and this is more kind of like, okay, this is a bit more mod. So
exactly. I think this was different for Candy, and I think she looks cute. She then twirls into this red dress moment. I think the twirl and execution for the reveal was all right. I'm just not a big fan of this roughly red dress. I feel like it doesn't flatter her body that much.
Yeah,
it could have been a little bit better.
Yeah, like that's like the bottom part of it is what kind of like bothers me. I mean, I'm glad because like again, like a different silhouette or a different like look that we're getting. This is more so on the glam part that we don't usually see from Candy. But again, like it wasn't the right dress for me either.
Exactly. I think that's also what makes it not work for me, is that this is like the first time we're seeing Candy in like a dress this season. And if this is going to be the first time, it should be a good dress. And this is not it, mama. Like, Candy has a very specific body, and I'm not sure if she knows how to fit her body in certain clothes and make it work as well as other queens who have big bodies such as herself.
Yeah, which is like I think she just doesn't know how to do glam, like those glam look. Because like again, like she I know she can do like the corsets or the bodysuits and like stuff like that. But like if we're doing glam here, like just pick a better dress.
So then she drops the dress into this kind of Austin Powers moment where, if you've seen Austin Powers, they have like those robot ladies with the gun tits.
Yeah,
she kind of reminds me of that moment, which I thought was cute. But again, like it's always like a fit issue with me with Candy. Like this it looks nice, but if she had, I don't know, maybe I'm nitpicking here, but I feel like Candy would do really well with some hip pads and some like a titty bib, like or like a boob contour or something. But
Yeah.
we don't have no boob contour, no titty bib, so we just get like these cups on bare chest, and the like the like the bust area is not fitted. Like we have loose ends here, and then when we get down to the panty, you see the panty like dangling from the skirt, and it's like these moments that are like nitpicking here and there that could have made the look more elevated if it was more polished. Do you feel like I'm over critiquing this, or what do you think about this?
I think it's totally valid. I was just about to say, like, at first, or at least I'm still thinking it's like, are these supposed to be like her underwear or something? Because it's giving me that vibe. It's
She's
giving
in
me that
garters right
yeah.
now.
So again, like maybe if yeah, she did the boob contour, if she kind of just like polished it up and like really like did pay more attention to detail, then maybe she would have really got
And one of my
executed
points
it well.
is that like Candy is tall. She's a very tall queen. So if you had like a big hip here and a big hip here and a boob contour here, the shape would be an hourglass. It would be literally an hourglass, which would be so like it would look so good.
Yeah, it would have at least like done the outfit more justice, because now it's just like, yeah, I'm
And
like,
that's just been my thing, because she always wears corsets, right? And she doesn't wear any titties or titty contours when she wears the corset. So there's just always this disconnect. And I know drag is ever evolving, and you don't need to pad, or you don't need to wear tits or anything. But I just feel like with this specific body shape, like it would do more good than bad.
oh yeah,
in this instance.
absolutely, yeah. She needs to improve. She needs to.
All right, enough ragging on Kenny Muse. We're moving on to Miss Lala Ree. She comes out with her purple snuggie.
Mm-hmm. It just looks like she's a statue that you're trying to like cover just to like prevent dust from like.
It looks like Lala got cold on the runway
Yeah.
and she needed a blanket.
It's like, yeah, you're snuggling up like on a rainy day watching a movie. So
I loved this like this purple velvet color, because she then twirls the purple cover off to reveal this purple glitter corset moment that's also velvet, so it's shining through the lights in the right ways. I thought this was really pretty. I love the bow on the back. I really like this look from Lala Ree.
yeah, I love it too. It's giving me Beyonce, it's giving me Simone from season 13. It was just yeah, this is how you should have done it, Candy. This.
Yes, see, like look at this. Like it's so good. And again, Lala is not wearing any titties or contours, but she's like wearing something that's making her chest shine, and it just works better for her for some reason.
Yeah.
And I can't really explain it. But the only critique I would say is that the wig is a little dry. Just a little.
Yeah.
Just a little dry. I would prefer another wig with this outfit maybe, but that's neither here nor there. She looks stunning.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. Something about like velvet just like makes me. I'm biased to velvet because
I love velvet.
It looks so nice. Yeah.
And this was just what the fuck is this with Jimbo?
Not gonna lie, when I first saw this, I was thought it was like, oh shit, like I really thought that was actual. Like I get it, like this is not like this is like a fake, like a mask based on
Uh-huh.
Jimbo's like face, but like
Uh-huh.
I thought that was like Jimbo's actual face. Like
You thought Jimbo was walking out in like a boy look?
I mean, like we've seen it all from Jimbo, so like, and again, like this is like the type of like thing that we expect from Jimbo, but also at the same time, like we didn't expect it from Jimbo, but we expected her to be unpredictable. So
What is in the mind of Jimbo is all I have to ask. It's just crazy. Jimbo comes out in this Adam number where he's walking backwards and turns around and reveals that she is in fact Eve. Adam and Eve, and the whole apple thing in the center, it just everything was so cohesive. It told a story that made sense. And especially for the reveal yourself and referencing a something that was in the Bible about revealing themselves, like it not only did it make sense like for the challenge, but it also made sense in the Bible, which I thought was like sickening.
Okay, it's funny because like I didn't realize that until you mentioned it. And so now I realize, oh shit, that's like 10 times smarter than what I think it is.
There's
now.
just so many layers to this concept, which I really love about Jimbo. She is thinking about different points of views and perspectives and layers to a concept during her runways, which I very appreciate because it's not like one note. There's different takes to her looks that are really incredible to see.
Exactly. And then again, like this is like one of the most unique reveals that we've seen on the show. Like I don't think a lot of people, or like maybe I think she's like probably the first person to do this, or like I could be wrong, but like
to walk backwards in an outfit, I think she is.
Yeah. And like your reveal would be like literally like not everybody, she was probably the first queen to actually do that. So again, like Jimbo being unique, being quirky, being like the out of the box queen. So
and we know this took a lot of work from Jimbo because she is not the most coordinated queen. So to walk down the runway backwards at first, I'm just glad she didn't like trip and fall because that would have been a different moment.
Yeah. If you notice too, now that I'm looking at the picture, if you notice the feet, it's like she even that one like it's very detailed. Like you could tell that even when during the Adam part, like you could tell that they're like the feet are like
that's
this.
What made it trippy because she had feet on both sides. So when she was walking backwards, it really looked like someone was walking towards you.
Yeah, because like that picture right now, it looks like her feet is like backwards. So you're very smart.
So she uncorks the apple and a snake pops out of it. And the apple and the snake so happens to be around the genitalia area.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was like, oh, it's in the crotch area. I was like, oh.
It just looks like a giant schlong just swinging around.
Again, like quintessential Jimbo, very campy, very quirky. And again, it's very drag.
I love this. And I just know all of the like diehard homophobic, transphobic people were just shaking when they saw this look because not only is it a drag look, but it's poking fun to both male and masculine and feminine energies, and it's referencing the Bible. Yeah. So it's so many like FUs to like standard like cultures and stigmatisms that lie around today. So I just thought like everything, it was just perfect. It was chef's kiss, bellissimo.
Yeah,
Jimbo.
It's a huge statement, and I'm glad that she made that statement on the show.
Next is Alexis Michelle, and when I saw this, I was like, "Whoa, this is spooky-ooky."
I actually love this. No, even though, like I said, I didn't like Alexis.
We can appreciate her drag.
But I can appreciate this one. It's one of my favorites for this week. Because like, gosh, I loved it.
Stunning.
It
This
so
was
stunning.
this was conceptually good. She comes out as this witch with ragged robes with her finger out, and Matt said this really funny comment. Sure, I'll smell your finger. That just made me laugh really. That made me laugh a lot. And then Alexis gets to the end of the stage, swirls and twirls, honey, into this gorgeous black dress with some spooky makeup.
Yeah, the way she did that reveal too, I really loved it. It was just like, it was very smooth. It was just like, oh.
It's what Candy Muse wanted to do a couple of runways before.
Exactly.
but this is executed much better. The dress is pretty. Like, that's the problem with reveal looks, is that usually the first outfit is the best one, and then as you're revealing down and down, like the outfits that are being revealed to you are like more underwhelming looks because they have to fit inside of another look. So it was really nice seeing like this raggedy robed outfit turn into like this stunningly beautiful black dress.
Yeah. And again, like, it's great that we see this kind of like look from Alexis, because like we expect Alexis to just like, oh, it's very glam, very polished, very like this, very pretty. And so like, at least like for her to do like that whole like wicked witch, like the ugly witch kind of thing, it kind of like changes it up. And even this one is like stunning. I don't know, it gives me like Phantom of the Opera kind of thing.
Yeah, it gives me Phantom of the Opera too, even with the makeup, because she has like one good eye and then one wonky eye with the pale contact going on.
Yeah.
I thought this was really good coming from Alexis. Like, this is a very strong night for her.
Exactly.
So moving, it just sucks that Jimbo snapped so hard this week, because this could have been Alexis's first win this season, but Jimbo just took it.
Yeah.
Took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
The girls are called back to the stage, and Lala and Candy are announced safe. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree that it was just like safe. The snatch game was safe. The looks were not terrible. They were okay. So I think overall, I think the judges were right in like placing them safe this week.
I agree. First up is Jessica Wilde, and they critique her Iris Chacon as kind of one note. And the story or perspective was very confusing. And Jessica admits herself that she didn't even know what she was trying to do. So I thought that was very funny and very self-aware and just genuinely real coming from Jessica.
And something that you shouldn't actually say in front of the judges too. Like, don't ever tell them that you don't know what you were doing either, because it just kind of like,
it confirms everything.
It confirms everything, and you're digging yourself like a deeper hole. So,
but she's doing it with a smile. She knows what's up. She knows she's in trouble. Next up is Kahana, and their critiques are similar to Jessica's, although a little bit more harsh. It just was not funny at all to the judges. And they wish they could have done, or Kahana could have done something more with Coco Montrese. Do you think Kahana could have done anything else with Coco Montrese to have made this a better performance?
And again, I think we touched on this earlier. Like, when you're doing a snatch game of another drag queen, you can only do so much, because it's like you're only relying on like their catchphrases, their one-liners, and it's like, what else can you do besides that? that's pretty
Exactly.
much like what Yuru is probably curious about. And it's just like it's hard. It's always a huge risk trying to do that. And like I just wish she just picked a different character, honestly.
Me too. James looks so cute here. I just
Yeah, that
love
is so adorable.
James is so cute this entire season. I love that her boobs just get progressively bigger and bigger.
I think Jimbo's moves are rubbing off on her. So
Right. Exactly. Um, but James gets pretty high remarks. She did well in her snatch game. Michelle says that she carried the entire team during the first round, and her only major critique was that she felt like James needs to switch it up some more in the runway. Do you
Mhm.
agree with what Michelle was saying? Because Ross said kind of something else, like she is giving something different. She came out as a Muppet look. How different do you want this to be?
Yeah, it's weird that I agree with both Ross and like Michelle. I mean, like it is different that in such a way, yeah, because like she did the Muppet. Like it's not like I mean, like it's not like everybody did that, and it's like it's different for James, but also like I do understand that where Michelle's coming from. It's like yeah, again, what I was saying earlier was quintessential James, where it's campy, it's
Mhm.
very this is like literally on brand for James. So for
Yeah,
it would have been nice to see James do like a different silhouette or maybe do something like really risky or something different. So I'm hoping she actually does that in the next
I
episode.
I agree. I can see where both, like you said, where both are coming from. This was different for James. The Muppet look. No one else came out as a Muppet. Um, Looking at James's runways from the entire season, they do look a little similar. It's kind of like the Candy Muse effect, but not as much as the
Yeah.
Candy Muse effect. Like at least with James, she does her looks are different. Like there's something uniquely different about it every time.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Candy goes, it's usually just a corset, but in worn in a different way, or a
Yeah.
different color with the same makeup. But with James, I do feel like we get similar silhouettes most of the time. Like if it's a
Yeah.
dress, it's that form-fitting Baba Boom hourglass shape, and it's usually in a like a Pepto Bismos pink or like
Yeah.
like it's usually that
That's the
color.
shade exactly. The Pepto
Um,
Bismol one, yeah.
but it would be lovely to see maybe James in like a gown, like just a glamorous James look would be really cool to see. I feel
And
like.
in a color that we've never seen her before as well.
Yeah, not white, not pink. Like you can't wear
Exactly.
white or pink; they're banned now.
Yeah.
um, Moving on, Alexis gets good critiques. She's praised for her B. Arthur, and her runway look got good remarks as well. Um, she looks happy. I just know that Alexis is that queen that is just striving so hard to get good remarks. She really wants a win, and this could have been her moment, but sadly, it's not because Jimbo won. Up next is Jimbo. They praise Jimbo. Matt says that her physical comedy was next level, something that Drag Race has never seen before. Um, and this was probably one of the best, if not the best, Snatch Game performances in Drag Race history. Do you agree?
uh yeah, I would actually say it's like one of the best. Like if you're looking at like the entire show in general, it's like it's one of those snatch game characters where it's like yeah, you're gonna remember it for the seasons to come, and then you're gonna compare it to like the other snatch games that have been done before, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I'll put it up on that high tier. So
Yeah, I mean, usually when you're thinking of a season, drag race season and their snatch game, you can only think of maybe one or two queens that maybe have excelled and are like the face of that snatch game
yeah.
challenge. And if I were to recall to this season again, maybe in the future, I'm probably gonna only remember Jimbo, maybe Alexis and James from this.
Oh
from
yeah,
this game.
absolutely. Actually, if I'm being honest, yeah, I think the Shirley Temple is that's the only character I'm gonna remember actually.
Right.
If I look
So
back, so
it makes sense. Like Jimbo Shirley Temple is definitely the face of this season Snatch Game, and she wins, and she pops out the snake dick again.
it really looks like a dick though.
And the apple like looks like balls somehow.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
They had to do a quick cut away from Jimbo because Jimbo was swinging that snake around like it was something else.
Yeah.
Jimbo gets changed to her lip sync outfit. This purple ostrich feather moment. What do you think?
It looks like Grimace and Big Bird fucked, and then this was her child. So
Literally, she looks pretty here. I love the outfit. Next, we get the silhouette. Once you see the silhouette of the lip sync assassin, what were the names that were coming up in your head?
I was thinking of like from the outfit or the silhouette alone, I would think it was like, oh, this is probably a pageant queen, or so I was just like thinking, is this Jada? Is this somebody? I don't know if they were gonna repeat lip sync assassins before. I was like thinking like, is this gonna be Alyssa? Is this gonna be Cameron Michaels? I don't.
I thought this was Denali. I was like, this is Denali.
If this was Denali, I would have been so happy.
I mean, I'm happy that it was who it was because, spoiler alert, it was Jasmine Kennedy.
Yes, no, I'm glad. I'm glad it was also Jasmine because I think it was clear on season 13 that she was one of the lip sync assassins there. So
she was clearly one of the. There was a lot of lip sync assassins during her season.
Yeah.
But I just love the glow up of Jasmine Kennedy. She looks so beautiful here. I mean, she did look beautiful on her original season, but you can tell like she knows who she is. She's living, she's breathing, and she's thriving in this world as a trans woman. And I love that about her, and that she's just able to be herself, and she looks visually more healthy mentally, which I really love.
Yeah, I got to meet her at DragCon last month, and it was just she was
cool?
She was so cool. She smelled so nice, and now I actually know what her perfume is. It was Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. She literally said that.
Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. What did it smell like?
It was I wouldn't say it was kind of floral ish.
Yeah,
like
I could imagine her smelling like flowers.
Yeah, it's like it's not like those like very sweet kind of like I wouldn't say young-ish, but it's like you could tell it's like from a very classy woman. Yeah.
Yes, and a classy woman she is. She comes to dominate this song, Hallucinate by the one, the only Dua Lipa.
Yeah, I'm so glad they did this song. I know they did this before on Drag Race UK, so I'm glad that they're doing it again. But yeah, it's like one of my favorite Dua Lipa songs.
I feel like Drag Race is slowly returning some of the songs they used for UK because they've been flops. No shade.
Yes.
No shade to UK, sorry. But for example, during All Star 7, the Kylie Minogue Supernova song.
Yes! And then Blue Hydrangea was like, oops. I think she tweeted something about like, it's like, yeah, that was like the song that she lip synced to when she won.
When she won, and they were like, no, we're going to have to redo this because
it was just like so terrible.
Production was like, we spent way too much damn money on this Kylie Minogue song for it to flop like this. So we need to bring it back. And the girls ate. They ate that challenge.
Yeah.
And speaking of the girls eating, I felt like this was going to be... Speaking of eating, Jimbo almost eats shit at the first 2 seconds of the lip sync.
Yes, I noticed that. It's like the moment that she was almost gonna say, well, like, oh my gosh, well, she already lost. So
Oh my, me too. As soon as she tripped, I was like, there you go. There we go. At this point, we want Jimbo to lose every lip sync because it's funnier that way.
Yeah, she has like a new record to maintain now. Because now at this point, right, like she's like 0 for 6. So people, I've seen this on the comments as well on YouTube. She was like, she's not a lip sync assassin, she's a lip sync assassinate 10. So and it's totally fitting because it's just like, oh gosh, like she literally flopped so all of her lip syncs. It was just like, why? Like how?
I just love that Jimbo has so many lip sync outfits that are fabulous just to lose in them.
I mean, like if you're gonna lose, at least like at least you look good, right?
Oh, she brings it to the runway every time. Like she has no problems looking good on stage. But girl, when it comes to lip syncing,
yeah, it makes me think sometimes like maybe it's just because like she was just really up against like a very strong lip syncer. But I'm like,
I mean, every time she was, I mean, even with Chanel, like that was a little bit more close, but like still, like she's been up against some real stiff competition. First Pangina, Chanel, now Jasmine Kennedy.
Jasmine, yeah.
Like
she really was just like up against like very strong lip syncers.
Well, if you look at all of the assassins this season, they're all pretty strong assassins. They were not playing around this time. In other seasons, there would be some assassins you're like, really? Like you consider this person to be an assassin? No shade.
Yeah.
No shade. But like they're really bringing out the assassins this time around, which I feel like is interesting.
I feel like all of the assassins so far like are actually valid. Like they're actual assassins. So
I agree. This whole lip sync has just been just a montage of Jasmine eating and getting into poses and looking breathtakingly beautiful. She struts to the back and her coat just looks so beautiful with her coat, and she drops it when she comes back to the front. She turns around to give this moment. Looking back to the camera, her makeup is incredible. And in the middle of this, Jimbo is trying to keep up, and she has a cute wig reveal, which is really nice to see from Jimbo. The problem with Jimbo is that she has one thing really in her arsenal, which is like the 1-2 step and screaming to the sky. That's how Jimbo lip syncs, and it's not enough when you're getting the Dua Lipa dance from Jasmine Kennedy.
Yeah, the fact that she did that was just like, okay, now this is just like a sure win now from Jasmine.
Jasmine is referencing the artist, Jimbo screaming to the sky, and then Jasmine spins in the air into a spin split onto the ground and pussy pounds the ground. Incredible. She then gets to the other side of the stage to just look gorgeous on the ground on top of her cover throw.
Yeah.
Booty arch, the booty tooch, just stunning coming from Jasmine. And then she does a backflip into a prolonged split to the ground.
This is where I have I'm sad because like I'm just sad because like Jimbo is like blocking her when she did that, and like I saw like from the comments as well that a lot of people were kind of like frustrated or disappointed that that was the case, because like, you know, she did it in the back, and then like because like Jimbo was like blocking her, I just like, and then people were like saying like I'm pretty sure there were cameras also like from different angles they could have at least like shown her doing the backflip in a better way. So
that was surprising that they didn't have another angle or more footage to use to give a better shot and view of that incredible moment. But
yeah,
I was still getting my life from Jasmine Kennedy.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then she throws herself on the ground and she wins.
Shocker.
Shocker, right? Jasmine was so happy because she caught nothing but L's on her original season. So
Yeah. And again, like yeah, I'm happy for her that she finally got like a win, especially like a lip sync win, because like again, on her original season, I honestly feel like some of the lip syncs that she has done, I feel like I thought she actually deserved to win those. It's like
yeah.
when they did like the Lollapalooza, when she had to like lip sync like thrice and then she got like eliminated there,
Oh
it was
yeah.
just like it was just kind of like obvious that they were just really trying to get rid of her.
They
When
were
it
trying to
was
find a reason to send Jasmine Kennedy home, and they chose to do it during a lip sync episode where she ate all of the lip syncs.
yes, it was just like it just really didn't make sense. So I'm
Yeah,
glad that she
well,
finally won this one.
you know how production is.
Yep.
Jimbo walks to the back and gives a look like, yep, just lost my third lip sync smile.
Now I'm 0 for 6.
Well, while we're talking about it, Jimbo did collectively win 15K so far this season, which is most than what the rest of the girls can say. So,
That's true.
you
Yeah.
know, there is like Jimbo is still winning here, even though she's losing at the lip sync. She's still
Yeah.
getting something. So I like that.
And we're only just like at episode 5, and she's literally won 3 out of the 5 episodes. So that's
Yeah.
saying a lot.
Exactly. The girls are caught up back to the stage, and Jessica and mainly Kahana looks like they're shitting bricks. And RuPaul comes clean. She is going to remain blonde for the remaining of the show. And everyone is gagged. Everyone's laughing. No, but seriously, no one is going home tonight, and Kahana is just living.
Yeah.
Because Kahana knew she was in trouble.
Yeah. I feel like the moment like Bruce started saying like I feel like maybe like the first few seconds when Bruce started like saying her monologue, it was just like I don't know. I saw it coming that no one was gonna be eliminated just because like Heidi already quit, so they're trying to offset that. But
Yeah.
like in my head, I'm like, I wish they still eliminated somebody here.
Me too. To make it less predictable, because we know how production is, and we know how usually in a show like this you get a certain amount of set weeks. And so with Heidi going home and another scheduled elimination that same day, it would have messed up scheduling. So that's mainly why Rue decided to send no girls home. But if you know that, like, as a TV show, it's kind of predictable and not as exciting to watch.
Yeah.
And also, it kind of throws like this notion into the universe that if you want to save your fellow sisters, just quit so that there's not going to be an elimination that day, which that does not make great TV. And, you know, it's just going to keep happening if you don't change it up here and there.
Exactly. Or at least like the other thing too, it's like maybe for like from a production perspective, like you could have like still eliminated somebody here, and then maybe at least like now you have a reason to like maybe do like a double Shantae.
Or like
Yeah.
have a Lollapalooza comeback, you know, like they did on
Yeah.
All Stars 4 or something, because that was like really iconic.
Yeah. See that was like one of those moments where like yeah, it really was unpredictable. And like you were living for it because like, oh shit, like we thought at first that Mo Hart was actually gonna get eliminated, when in fact, oh, it was like it was a
Yeah.
save. It was a double save. So yeah.
I
I
think
don't know.
there's not going to be a returning queen just because of the whole Fame Games twist,
Yeah.
which is kind of a bummer.
Exactly. And now that like even like Heidi's not even gonna be joining that, it's just like but yeah. Okay, I do have a question for you. So what if there really was like an actual elimination between Jessica and Kahana? Who did you want to go home?
Honestly, I didn't want either of them to go home. I love Kahana a lot. I think she came out hot during the first episode, and she's starting to fizz away, which is kind of disappointing. Mainly because most of the challenges don't suit Kahana well.
Yeah.
Aside from just looking just gorgeous and stunning. I think Jessica brings a lot of personality to the table. And I just love seeing Jessica on my screen. So if I would have to have I would have chosen Kahana just for that reason. And, going by track record, like they both won a challenge, but this is Jessica's first time in the bottom, where this is Kahana's second time.
Yeah.
So sadly, it would have come down to that if I were in that position. But honestly, I would love to see Kahana and Jessica to the end if I had any say. But that's where my stance is. What do you think? What would you have done?
Yeah, I feel like Kahana was like, I think, yeah, Kahana would be like the more practical choice of like being eliminated best. Again, like I'm a track record guy, and like this is like the second time that Kahana has been in the bottom, and this is weird because like the this has been a trend in All Star seasons where it's like a queen who wins the challenge in the first episode suddenly becomes the bottom queen and the next one and just like declines from there. We've seen it
Yeah.
from like Roxy, we've seen it from India, and now we're seeing it from Kahana. So it's just like
It's predictable. I think the show tries their best to say on the first episode, ooh, you would have never expected this person to win and do well in the competition, but then you don't give them more moments to keep shining in the show.
Exactly.
So you're kind of sit there wondering, like, what was the whole point of giving this girl the win if you were gonna pay them dust for the remaining of the season?
Yeah, because
Like,
it makes you think now like, oh, so their first win was just a fluke. So like,
yeah, it
it
was like a fluke
huh?
or something, like to be like, wow, like you weren't expecting this, and like this crazy thing happened.
Yeah,
Like when India won during their All-Star season, it made me want to root for India
definitely.
through the whole season. But with me rooting for her, I became more and more disappointed because like they were not giving her any more moments after that. Which could be an India problem, but I just feel like more so than ever, it's production just giving girls wins for the sake of giving girls wins for the gag, like for the gag of it all. Like for example, like last season when Aura Maori won that Rockstar challenge, and then the very next week they send her home.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why are we doing this? Why are you playing in the fans' face? Like, why are you trying to give us people to root for just to ultimately send them home?
It's like it's weird, right? Like it's like to some extent, like you think like, oh, I'm gag, like you didn't expect this, but also at the same time, like it doesn't make sense. Like she was just like in the top, and now you're sending her home. Because like it also happened right on UK season 2, where Astina won, I think, and then like they sent her home like on the third episode. It was just like, oh, you were gag when that happened.
Yeah,
but
literally.
it was also like Rue should have been like more partial to that because like she actually won a challenge. So it's like
exactly.
Yeah.
But moving on to Untucked, Lala and Candy go to the back and they immediately notice Heidi's lipstick message. And it says something along the lines of anything that is done in the dark will be shown in the light or something like that. So it's obviously a nod to like Candy and that whole fiasco with Jimbo and Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the girls walk in, and Lala and Candy are like, "Look, girls, there's a message on the board." So they all turn around to look and read this message. And I just have to say, like, Kahana, why are you serving this much?
I was just like, I was like looking at her ass.
Literally,
so.
like the queens are looking at this lipstick message from the couch, and Kahana is just serving straight ass on the couch. Jimbo says, she feels for Heidi, but ultimately this is a competition, and this is one less competitor to worry about. How do you feel about what Jimbo had to say about Heidi leaving?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't blame Jimbo for saying that. Again, it's a competition at the end of the day. At least it kind of like that's one less person you have to worry about, right?
Yeah.
And at least it's just sad that it like that Heidi left that way. Like I don't think any queen was happy with how like that situation turned out. But again, from a competitive standpoint, it's like, well, at least like another strong person actually went home. So
James says in a confessional that the queens are not owning up to the bullshit. They know that people are talking about sending Jimbo home, but no one is admitting that the girls want to send Jimbo home. At the same time, James is not saying that out loud either. So, girl, none of you guys are being real.
So it's like, again, it's Drag Race Survivor up in here, and I'm living for it. But again, like when you think, and I think like it's weird, right? Because like you kind of understand why none of these queens are speaking up about that, because like they don't want
to put a target on themselves.
Exactly. You don't want to be that person to actually send somebody home and like be the person to actually say that. So
yeah. Heidi is going home. She is satisfied with her performance, what she had to show. She's kind of bummed that she has so many looks that are not going to be shown, but she ensures that they will be shown somewhere for us to enjoy. So I wish nothing but the best of luck to Heidi. I love her so much. I feel like there was so much potential that has not been shown, which is a bummer. But I do respect that she made a choice and a decision for her own peace of mind, and I feel like that's commendable.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said. I mean, it's not wrong for you to actually put yourself first and like put your like mental health and like whatever you're feeling first. And again, like it's heartbreaking because like I love Heidi so much. When I found out that she was part of the cast, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm rooting for Heidi. I've always wanted her to come back, and I'm glad she did. And she was like one of my favorites on season 12, so I was really excited for her to be on to be the.
I feel like Heidi was just so undervalued. Like straight from the promo, like her promo look was so fierce. Like her first 3 episodes were so good, but she wasn't getting any critiques. And then after that, she just started fizzling out because she wasn't getting the recognition that she deserved. So
yeah,
my heart goes out to that.
Yeah,
and then the whole gaslight moment, just to put the cherry on top of all. Alexis is just happy that she was able to do well in Snatch Game, and she is praising Jimbo for her incredible Shirley Temple performance. She's also saying that she's not surprised that Heidi left because Heidi was showing signs of wanting to leave earlier, which she did. She was clearly checked out a couple times, but she tried to hang in there for the sake of the show and everything, but it just was not working out. We get a flashback to Shirley Temple's tap dancing, which is just incredible. Look at the coordination that Jimbo had to have for this tap dance number.
Oh yeah.
I'm really, really shocked she didn't fall. Literally. Jessica's pleading her case. She's saying that she doesn't think that she did the worst. She would love to stay. Kana is saying her argument is that the bottom two should have been her and Heidi and not her and Jessica. And she's upset that Heidi had chose to leave and there's still an elimination because things were not supposed to have played out this way. What do you think?
I totally disagree with that one, because like again, like I think the bottom two people were very valid. I think
the bottom two, regardless, were gonna be Jessica Wilde and Kahana.
Exactly. So it just like it didn't make sense for Kahana to say that Heidi should have been in bottom. Like obviously, like she was feeling some type of way towards Heidi. So of course,
you were hoping that it would be you and Heidi, and this is why I feel like this drama was a little bit played out, because in a Survivor or Big Brother game, like voting out your friend is really hard. Mm-hmm. So you want a reason to vote out somebody. Yeah. And I feel like this was your reason. You were upset because they were playing on your bad performance. And so you were ready to vote out Heidi because of this whole thing. And that's probably not why you weren't really accepting her apology in the first place, because you just wanted to make sure that if it were you in the bottom versus Heidi, people could vote for Heidi because you wanted, this situation to play out against Heidi in that way. Exactly. I feel like that's my theory. I could be completely wrong. But again, like what we said earlier, like she was kind of placing the blame of her poor performance on Heidi, and she was hopeful that it would have been Heidi and her at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that would have happened. I think Heidi would have been safe.
Yeah, no, there was no way that Heidi would have been in the bottom, because like Heidi cracked a lot of like jokes there that really laughed. So
Heidi made me laugh multiple times.
Exactly.
Like she did her job. Jimbo has a conversation with Jessica, and basically Jessica's pitch is that, we want to see big competition at the end. She doesn't think that she did the worst, and she deserves to stay here. And Jimbo receives that. Candy is just still frustrated about the whole situation with Heidi. She's still claiming that all of the rumors are just rumors and not correct, and she just is feeling bad that this might potentially come around and bite her in the ass in the future with Jimbo.
Yeah.
Jimbo and Kahana have a conversation. Kahana is basically just admitting that she did the worst, and she's like expecting to go home, basically. She basically said she's saying like she wished she wasn't in this position because it would have been her and Heidi. She keeps saying that, and it's not really helping her case.
Yeah, and again, like I it's just like it frustrates me. Like she's obviously blaming Heidi for everything, and then like you're having that kind of like defeatist attitude where it's like, oh, you're going home, yada yada yada. Like it doesn't help when you're the one actually saying it yourself, because it's like, then why are you still pleading your case then if you think you're gonna go home? Like what's the point of all of this?
Right? Exactly. We get a sneak peek back behind the scenes preview with Jasmine Kennedy, which was a nice fun moment. She gets ready. Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers enter just to kiki with the girls a little bit. They're really lovely. Did you like Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang this episode?
Oh yeah, totally. I liked them as guest judges. I think it was a good episode for them to be a guest judge, because like I think it's all about comedy and all of that, and that's kind of like their realm.
Yeah, it made sense. I love when the guest judges, they make sense with whatever challenge or the runway has to deal with that particular day.
Yeah, not like that episode when they did the ball challenge and JoJo Siwa was So I was like, really?
It's JoJo Siwa during
It's
Rupaul
like-
challenge.
I would have been fine if it was like an actual dance challenge, or like when
Yeah,
they did like
exactly.
the girl group performance and JoJo was the guest judge. It would have made more sense. But it was like JoJo like in a design challenge. I'm like, what?
Literally. Jasmine looks phenomenal in this
That's
look.
stunning.
She gets ready for her lip sync assassin moment, and this wig is just doing it all.
It's giving like shampoo commercial.
Literally giving Pantene hair commercial.
Pantene hair commercial.
Literally. We get to the fame game looks, and we're starting with Monica, Beverly Hills. She looks how would I describe this? She looks like she's in this rain jacket look that's yellow and has blue highlights. It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Till we get to her reveal, and she kind of looks like a yellow blue superhero.
Yes. Literally what I was like thinking, and at least like if that was like the look that she was going for, then I'm glad. I mean, she pretty much hit it. So
Yeah, she looks nice here. And that was about it. So we only get one reveal from Monica. So it wasn't like the most wow moment, but she did look nice and beautiful there.
Yeah.
Naisha comes out in this black and white number. She loves like these not neutral colors, but like these non-colorful colors. She likes black, she likes white, she likes beige, she likes brown.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish we got something else from Naisha Lopez.
Yeah.
This time around. Not saying this look is bad, but it's just underwhelming. Like, I feel like that's just been the narrative of Naisha's story and looks thus far. It's just been like, it's pretty, it's nice to look at, but that's it. Like, I'm not wowed, I'm not inspired, like, I'm not jaw dropped at all by this look.
Right. It's like you expect more from her, and like she's a pageant queen, so like we expect more.
Yeah,
like, at least like more glam.
She's a continental winner, and from Sasha Colby's experience, like we know that it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to win a continental. She has pure talent, and she's a stunning, gorgeous queen, but like we want to see more personality with Naisha. That's the only thing. She walks down to reveal this zigzag black and white dress. The hair is it's throwing me off.
Yeah, I have a bone to pick with the hair. It's just like, why? Like it just really doesn't make sense.
Like, it looked okay with the first look from the front. But I don't like that it's a bob mullet that is also mushroom helmet shaped.
Yeah,
around her head.
The colors don't even like complement each other. Like
it doesn't complement the black and white. It's this brown and black wig.
It looks tacky to me, honestly.
We've seen better wigs on Naisha Lopez's head.
Exactly.
And then she reveals the zigzag into a polka dot black, and it's not great. It's just
it looks basic and underwhelming.
It looks like she's gonna shop at Forever 21. like
no, for real.
No shade.
That's pretty much it. With that hair too. So it's like, ugh.
And we just know that she can do better, which is why we're disappointed.
Yeah.
Mrs. Kasha comes out in another black and white dress.
Ooh, it's Cruella. It's like giving Cruella.
The night of 1,000 Cruella DeVilles, apparently. And Miss Kasha walks down to reveal the black and white dress into another black and white dress, but inverted. And then she reveals the black and white dress down into a black and white corset, but inverted again. again, just not wowed. Like this concept, it's just played out black and white. Like, wow. Like that's all I have
Yeah,
to say.
it's gosh, it's I mean, I appreciate like that we're given three different silhouettes, but like of like the same color scheme. Like,
Yeah. And
okay,
it's not like you're giving Cruella DeVille. I wish you would give Miss Kasha Davis.
yes,
Show us like your own perspective into your looks.
yeah,
Next up we have Darian Lake giving this like almost a similar bride's dress to what Alexis Michelle had shown last week during the Ask the World Turns runway.
mm-hmm.
She reveals this dress into a beautiful black dress. And I thought this was lovely. I thought this was nice. She looked beautiful in the first look, and her reveal look was also nice. I just think Alexis did better
Oh,
this episode.
absolutely. Alexis did way better. Had a much better story and concept.
Yeah.
This one though, I like as well. Darian looks like Adele.
Yes. Darian looks so gorgeous here in this in this wig, and her makeup is also like I just love Darian's transformation from season 6 to now.
Yeah.
She looks gorgeous. The weight loss, she looks like thin Adele here. Like it's really crazy. She looks beautiful. I love the dress. It looks like crushed velvet, kind of. Um, I like the shape. And that's it. That is the
Wow.
end of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 8, Episode 5. Just closing thoughts. How are you feeling after this episode?
Overall, I think like it's again, it's like one of the best, if not the best episode thus far of the season. Because like from the challenge perspective, from like the runways, and like again like from like the actual drama and tea that happened. This is definitely gonna be one of the more memorable moments of the season, and I liked it. I enjoyed it overall. I was gagged when I first saw it, and now I just like I can't wait to see what's gonna be the aftermath of like Heidi leaving and like that whole drama. So
I agree. From the previews, it looked like there's even more drama next episode. So I'm interested to seeing how that plays out.
yeah,
I'm bummed that Heidi's gone, but I'm still excited for the season. This was the best episode, in my opinion. Before we go, who is your winner pick, if you had to say now? And who would you like to win this season?
well, my winner pick is gonna be Jimbo. I feel like Jimbo has. I've been a fan of Jimbo since Canada's Drag Race, and like
And for the viewers who don't know, Chris Hughes is also from Canada, so it makes sense.
Yeah. so it kind of like obviously I'm a bit more biased as well because of that one. But like yeah, Jimbo has been like turning it out this season, and we're kind of like well, except for like the lip sync part, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe Jimbo is gonna like bag another win, and then maybe she's gonna win the lip sync there. I do want to see also like James to succeed as well. I enjoyed James, like watching James and like getting to see James's talent. So yeah, like I'm rooting for those two. What about you?
I agree. I think it's great to see Jimbo being highlighted in such a way because I feel like Jimbo is such a fan favorite every season that they're on, but they always get like cut in a strange way or like something unfortunate happens where they can't make it very far in the show to display everything they have. And I feel like Jimbo is for sure going to make it far this time around, unless she slips and one of the girls gives her the chop. But I am excited to see what else Jimbo brings. Like every episode, I'm excited to see what Jimbo's going to wear on the runway. The only thing that I would say is that I am a little bummed that all the queens of color are slowly deteriorating in weird ways.
Yeah.
Like with Monica first, then Naisha, and then Heidi leaving. It just seems like none of the girls of color are bringing it and can challenge Jimbo for the win. If that makes sense.
I mean,
like it was Heidi, and like I want Lala to be up there, but I'm not seeing it for Lala, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I want to say.
Yeah. I mean, to your point too, right? Like, I mean, Lala, it's been very safe so far. And then like Kahana is already kind of like
Oh yeah, Kahana too. Yeah, it's just like it seems like a crashing, burning ship for the Queens of Color. But I do love that the queens that haven't been highlighted as much, like James during the original season, is getting the recognition and the screen time that they deserve. I love seeing them on my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to call it, I would say Jimbo is definitely going to win if they make it to the end. And a dark horse in this competition might be Jessica Wilde. Might be my saving grace in all of this.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally see that because like Jessica has already won one challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people actually love her. We can see how great she is at lip syncing as well. And yeah, I mean, like we've seen dark horses win this competition before. I mean, look at like Kylie's Unique Love. It was kind of the same case for her. So, and Jessica, if she wins, she's gonna be like the first Puerto Rican queen as well, right?
Yeah, that would be sick. Quick question before we go. When you're looking at a winner, are you basing it off of track record, or do you think if you make it to the end, you should have a chance to win regardless of like how many competitions you've won?
I feel like again, like I'm more so on the track record, but like if we're looking at like an actual winner, like a winner has to be like a total package. Like you can bag as many wins as you want, but if you're not charismatic enough, if you're not really good at this part, if you're not really good at that part, then like when you look back, it's like you know, it just doesn't make sense if you like as a winner, if you're not the total package, at least like be decent on like those whole on everything. And that's kind of like one of my reservations as well. Like if I had to be critical, like let's say for Jimbo, I mean like I don't mind Jimbo winning, and like Jimbo's been slaying in terms of track record. If we're only looking at that, then obviously Jimbo's gonna be the front runner. But if it's like Jimbo sucks at lip syncing and then you're gonna crown the winner of that, it just kind of like
Do you think they're gonna do a lip sync for the crown this season?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because like I think that's usually the case, or at least it's traditionally it's been like that. So
even
like,
on the All-Star season, they did a lip sync for the crown.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, but that's the other thing, right? Like that's
if Jimbo makes it to the end, regardless of it being a lip sync for the crown, then I would love to see them get the crown. If they didn't if production didn't rig it for them to win, like if like they did a lip sync Lollapalooza for the crown, and if Jimbo clearly lost every lip sync but still somehow made it to the final lip sync and won, I would have a problem. But if she won those lip syncs and made it to the end, then she definitely deserves the crown.
Yeah, but but also imagine this, right? Like Jimbo making it to the end, and then the only thing that would make her lose was the actual lip sync.
Mm-hmm.
That would like
I could see
it's
both sides. I could
I
see
can see
that
both.
perspective.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
because it's like you would be frustrated too, but then like you also can't blame like if she clearly lost the lip sync, then like you know
I
you
mean,
can't
we've
really
seen it before. Like even with the legendary Legend season, like
yeah
you
with the
cannot
Jinx
tell
versus
me you
Monet.
cannot tell me Jinx won that lip sync versus Monet. You cannot
So
convince me.
I so maybe that's how Jimbo could possibly win. If Rue suddenly says we've looked at the track record this entire
Based
season.
on your lip sync and your performance on the entire season.
Yes, there we go. I feel like that's the only way that Jimbo could actually win this season if she
Yeah,
makes it to the
literally.
end. So
They have to do it that way if the Jimbo makes it to the end. There's no
yeah,
other way.
yeah.
But anywho, this was an amazing first podcast ever with you, Chris.
Yes.
I cannot wait to deep dive and dissect the next episode with you. Anything else you want to say before we go?
All I'm gonna say is like, yeah, for those tuning in, thank you so much. And again, to you, Kristofer, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been such a it's been such a blast geeking with you like for the past 3 hours. If you know, it's been 3 hours of just talking about Drag Race and
Jesus,
just
we're gonna have to hone it down next time.
yeah,
But
we'll definitely hone it down. But like, I'm glad that we were able to kind of like deep dive and like really unpack everything. And
yeah,
like, yeah, it's been amazing. And like, I can't wait for more of this.
this has been a blast. I had so much fun. But until next time, see you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.